I'm realizing that I did nothing. I said, all right, like we're ready to go, and I did nothing at all. I'm still getting used to this stuff, Tom. How you doing, man? Oh, can we not hear you? Uh-oh, what happened? Why can't we hear Tom? Oh, wait. Try it again, Tom.
La 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 la.
Oh,
la,
yeah.
la.
Okay, see, again, it was me. We were trying to get...
New setup.
Yeah, it's a new setup. It's a new setup. It's confusing to me because, well, I come from a podcasting world where you sit there and you talk to somebody one-on-one, you record it, and you release it later. And then so, like, adding this live thing to the whole... I mean, it just completely threw everything sideways, but in an awesome way. Like, in an incredible way, honestly. But, yeah, man. How are you with the tech, man? I mean, you seem to have your stuff together pretty well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's been bumpy at first. You know, there's so many little problems that happen with, like, even if you like set your stuff up and it works, and then you set it up again and it doesn't work, and you're like, why won't it detect that camera? Or, you know,
yeah, it's like, why does
aggravating.
It changes its mind like by itself. Adam Flair UK, what is up? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for dropping that Tom emote. Senior Pancake. I did see, I was laughing before I came back. You understood what I said, but you don't actually speak Spanish. Me neither. I don't speak Spanish either, so it's all good. I'm not even trying to fake the funk here. Wine Scream Tom pushing full screen. Look,
boo. We got the whole system here. Even Duck's here.
Duck.
What's up, Mike? Thanks for having us.
Dude, Duck. Holy crap. I did not expect Duck to come out of nowhere. Holy shark. Thank you so much. Thank you for that follow, Adam. I appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here, Mike. Thanks for having us.
Well, yeah. I'm completely enthralled. So like the way I heard about you was through Aaron Goldberg. Oh, thank you for the follow, Senior Pancake. I appreciate that. At Pomp.
I see someone wants you to turn me up a little bit.
Oh heck yeah, let's turn them up. I'm missing it.
Turn me up.
Turn them up. Turn them up in the mix. Here, I'm gonna turn off the background music because we don't need background music. There we go. Here we go. Can you hear us now? Are we better? Are we sexier for y'all?
Am I better? Doug, how are you doing? La 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 la. Check 1 2 3. Duck 1 2 3. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Duck. I appreciate it. He's getting a round of applause right now. Just so you know, there's a round of applause going on. Anyways, well, before we started, I was talking to you about your video, and I was asking you, I was like, is it okay if I run this before we start? And you were kind of hesitant because it was sort of because you're like, well, that's 5 years ago, and you used to sit, for instance. That used to be. I'm just curious on like what because it's a really good video. Were you in like a different state of creating at that time? Is that why you're just sort of like, well, because you're a little apprehensive, so I was just curious.
Yeah, well, it's I think that video is from 5 years ago, and yeah, it the style that I was doing back then is a lot different than what I do. I mean, to me it is, but maybe to other people it isn't. But back then I was kind of playing with color in sort of just an intuitive way, where I would just kind of throw a color here, throw a color there, kind of thing. But I would say that the portraits that I do now are actually very specific. Like the way that I treat them is very. There was like a turning point where it felt like I was just kind of, just throwing a bunch of stuff onto a face. But now it feels like very orderly to me. I see. I'm aware of it.
So you're talking about those portraits you were doing with the markers, correct?
Yeah, like I got a bunch of. I could even actually show some. I've got some old sketchbooks. Here, hold on a second. Let me grab this.
Sure, and I can also go to your website and pull that up so everyone can see that as well.
So the portraits started from sketchbooks because I would, be at work and I would want to draw, and sketchbooks are a great way to do it because, like, here's a little one.
Yeah.
So this would be in my pocket. I'd bring it out and do a sketch and then take some ink and put it on my finger and smear it on, because you can get away with creating art at work if you're using markers, because it doesn't look like that big of a deal.
Right.
Obviously, if you have paint and stuff in your...
You have an easel in your palette board. You're just like,
excuse get back to work.
Excuse me, I'm painting. But so it was easier for you to sort of travel with markers and sort of just sort of have this little portable station where you could go and work and do all your sketching. I'm actually gonna show people your website on like what you have on there and sort of the different things. I love this. Is that Kurt Vonnegut, by the way, the animated monoprints?
Yeah.
I love Kurt Vonnegut.
I was getting into his books last year and was doing some pieces of him, and he's an interesting celebrity to draw because he's not like visually famous.
Yeah, you're right.
Written famous.
Right.
And it's fun to kind of play with representing him and stuff. The interesting thing about these animated pieces are that it was an accident, I found out. So with this ink process that I do, if I pour white tempera onto it, and then so I pour white tempera onto it, put another piece of paper on top, and then I use a roller and roll the tempera over the ink. I can pull a copy of the art off, and I can do it multiple times, like up to like 10 times. And these animations are actually me doing it over and over and over again, and the different sort of copies it creates. So I'm sorry, I was laughing. I can confirm that my attempts to sneakily do pottery during work meetings are unsuccessful. I agree, Senior Pancake. I don't know if pottery is the thing to take to work unless you're a potter, right? I don't know. No, this is really cool. I'm looking at this animation with Kurt Vonnegut. So that's basically a form of stop motion then. I mean, it's just a sequence, yeah. Sequence. So, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm a musician, first of all. Yeah. So I'm a musician, so I'm coming from that world. But stop motion. I mean, it's all about just time-based change, and like visual change and stuff. And so there's literally like 10 pieces of with Vonnegut on it in my flat file over here, and I think I sold one of them. I was selling them for a little bit. I could still sell them. I don't really have a proper store at the moment, but I'm just curious on how you do go about portraits and stuff. How do you pick your subject? How do you what draws you to a subject? I like quiet, still images, like where people feel still to me, like as in so when you are told you're going to have your picture taken, there's all this automatic machinery in people's brains that makes them like smile a certain way or whatever, you know. Or when you tell a kid like smile, they're like right. And I'd say that that's the opposite of what I like, because it's generic and common to smile like with huge teeth, and I'm not really a big fan of teeth in my paintings. I try to avoid them because they're a little profane. It's just kind of like if you have a mouth open and teeth, it's just kind of gross, like not that teeth are gross, but that it can just look a little much, but if you're like this, you're totally chill. It's great, but I like most of my. Sometimes I like I like sort of the mugshot idea of like just not doing anything, because it feels natural. But sometimes I like a little bit of a mystery element of maybe even a little melancholy or something even slightly sinister, but nothing really intensely inflamed or anything like that,
Yeah, I mean, looking at these, I mean, you know,
But
you got a couple of these people are smiling, but for the most part, people are just sort of sitting there on this resting stare, showing off their best version of RBF. I love it. It's like, no, there is something interesting about someone's face that's just resting. Like, it's just sort of, it makes sense to the eyes visually, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe there's something to do with, shape. I don't know what is it to you that really just draws it. But I mean, I understand that you don't like teeth. For what I'm glad you caught that, senior pancake. What is it about someone's resting face that, I mean, it's just...
Well, it's the sense of presence. I mean, it's just like if you talk to someone, you know, you make eye contact and you have body language where you're both receiving each other's information, right?
Right.
And with these pieces I do, I try to make presences that feel present, I guess you could say. And it's kind of a mysterious thing. It's not really straightforward, you know.
Right.
And the other aspect of it is just that I get a lot of joy out of symmetry and the symmetry of the face, and it just feels good to like look at a face. You know, to me, it brings me a lot of pleasure in my mind, and like I just enjoy it and always have. You know, for some reason.
Yeah. Welcome to Face Talk, where we talk about faces. We love faces.
Face Talk.
Go ahead.
Jess said. My wife said that I wasn't hosting you, but I am hosting you.
Jess.
Can anyone confirm whether I'm really hosting this or not? I checked and it says I am. But I don't know what's up with that. But
it says I'm streaming. Sorry,
I mean, the chat confirms that we are definitely streaming. For sure. Senior Pancake says I am hosting you.
You are hosting. I see it. Oh my God. Nice. I think we're about... Okay. I made a grave mistake, but it's okay. Confirmed. Thank you for the confirmation, everybody. The emergency.
What's your grave mistake?
Oh, my great mistake was I was about to have a double of us. So like the stream going through the sound as we're talking. It would have been like, you know, it would have been us in the past. Yeah, it would have just been mania, and that's okay though. It happens.
Well, there's a lot of grace on Twitch, I think, because it is live and people understand that you're an actual human being somewhere doing stuff right now.
Like the whole thing yourself. Well, I can't say that because shout out to the mods. My God, to the mods, Reina, Mystique, and Wallace. God, they have saved my ass so many times. I love your animation. It's so different from your portraits, and you have such a because obviously you have this like great skill that you've refined. It's like you have your sword and you've sharpened it to the, you know, sharpened the edges real sharp. You can tell that you've done the work, but I love that you sort of you depart from that with your animation, where it's like these crude drawings of you know, like a duck or whatever it is.
Who you calling crude? Who you calling crude here?
I'm sorry, Duck. I'm sorry, Doug. You know what? I'm sorry. You're fancy. I mean, your wings are much more graceful than mine.
Really?
Oh,
well, thank you. Thank you.
My star.
Shucks.
Oh,
shucks.
I like that.
Anyways,
I like that you can fan yourself, Duck. That's nice. That must be nice in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, what you're saying, yeah, totally. There are kind of, I've realized that there's kind of two sides to me, and because, you know, there's almost like an extroverted and an introverted nature that I have to go back and forth with. And so, you know, at times in school I was the class clown, but then I would also go long stretches of not really being, you know, well, being quiet basically, you know. And the portraits were a source of peace and meditation for me at the time, because I was feeling disillusioned, and at my job at the time I was working in an office, you know,
I know,
commuting every day, and just feeling like I'm not really doing the art thing, you know, fully, and feeling really discouraged about that. But then with Instagram, I was just like, man, what if I like post portraits all the time?
Yeah,
that could be a little way to cultivate how I want to express myself and art and stuff. And so it was cool because, you know, like it's just this, I listen to music and I get really into it, and then I produce this thing that I'm really proud of and really enjoy. But there's always been this silly side of me too. Yes. And that is more an extroverted, present, goofy, entertaining. I love to entertain people. So when I'm just doing art, if I only do that, I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
And if I only do entertainment, I eventually get too tired of it. So I kind of have to go this back and forth from extremes of quiet and meditative, private, to out external and totally goofy and off the wall and ridiculous. And that's what Cartoon Mess Live is kind of about, you know?
Well, and that's a great representation. But, and then that's really interesting because it seems like you just get bored easily, but you constantly need to create. So it's like this, so it's like, because, well, I can relate so much to that because I'm a musician. I do the podcast. I write music. I do videography. I do photography. I do a lot of different things. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I would fucking lose my mind, and it wouldn't be fun anymore. It would feel more like where if I was constantly just talking to people, just interviewing people all the time, it would be boring to me. I mean, I love talking to people, but my God, it's like, for me personally. So, I mean, is that something that has gotten you into trouble in the past? Like, I don't know.
What aspect of it got me into trouble? What?
Well, like, is there an aspect to this getting bored? And I don't know. Here's a good example for me. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was getting, all of a sudden my schedule was cleared, and all I had to do, I really got into building my website and really building out my podcast to make it, you know, really good. I've been doing it for 5 years. I was like, well, God damn it, I have all the time that I need to do it. Let's do it. And then I started getting inundated with, hey, can you record on this? Let's collab on this. Let's do this. And I was like, yeah, I should probably be making some money. So I started taking some work. But I quickly realized that all I want to do is build out my podcast. All I want to do is that. And that's all that's screaming at me. You know, like all that I can think about while I'm wasting time on someone else's music is I could be, you know, making my website look cooler and create graphics and do all this cool stuff. So I guess what I'm talking about in the means of trouble, have you ever like committed to something and all you want to do is do what you want and then you're sitting there sort of, I don't know. I mean, because
that's been the last year and a half for me. Yeah.
I just bailed. Like, I'll give you your money back. I bail. I quit. I just stopped because I was like, I'm not putting myself up.
I've never quit. But I've turned down round twos. You know, like I'll get through what I said I would do. Right. But now I'm very careful what I agree to, and I've turned down a lot of jobs this year because my streaming is growing, and I mean what you said is exactly the same for me this year, because I've been devoting myself to this stream, and it's totally the best thing in the world to me, and it is a potential source of income, and so there's no reason why I shouldn't be pursuing it well. And but, you know, I've worked hard the last 10, 12, since college, and 13 years ago, I've been working very hard. And, you know, there was a point where you kind of lose steam on doing other people's stuff is hard, you know, and you kind of have to switch to focusing on your ideas. And not everyone gets that luxury, but sometimes it's kind of like, well, I'm gonna go crazy here, you know, like if I don't do this, you know.
Right.
And I definitely had, last year was almost like a sabbatical for me, where my wife was kind of concerned. She's like, "Are you gonna work anymore?" You know, like, and I was just kind of like not working and kind of doing Cartoon Mess Live, but not as much as I do now. And it was kind of start stop, and I wasn't really making money. I made less money than my first year out of college last year, but it felt like a reset, and it was kind of exciting because I knew I was doing something that was important to me, and that I think would pay off, you know. And I mean, it's kind of reminds me of like going to college itself. My dad was like don't do it, like, because I wanted to go to this expensive school out of state, and he was like, you don't want that kind of debt. But you know, it changed my life and it was the best thing I could have done. And I mean, sometimes you have to take big risks, and you only live once. And as you get older, it can get harder to take risks if you build a family and stuff. And like, so I thought, well, I might as well just, throw myself into it and give myself to it, because it is really fun. But I still have these lingering jobs I'm doing because I have trouble saying no too. And
that's
whenever
a big
people
one.
approach me about a job, I'm like, it's always like this. I might be able to do it. It's kind of like a yes until it's a no for me.
It's a soft yes. It's a soft yes.
But it should be a probably no.
Yeah.
But convince me, you know, or something like that.
Make me want it, baby.
Yeah.
We got a question from Senior Pancake. Going back to the introverted versus extroverted aspect of the two Toms, does Tom find that his different shows also help with keeping the balance, i.e. that moving between the more zany cartoon mess live and the quieter Borb show helps balance that out?
Exactly. Yes, Senior Pancake, you're completely right, because it's like it's sort of meta in the sense that in the real world I have these dynamics, and then within my own dream realm there are those dynamics, because I can't just do duck every single day.
Right.
I would get too tired. And Borb is this refreshing meditative stream, and it is very Bob Ross inspired, because Bob Ross is inspiring, and I find his videos to be meditative and healing.
They are.
Like sometimes my wife and I watch them when we're kind of worn out, and or if we're having insomnia or something, it's just kind of like you can just kind of rest on the couch and watch some Bob.
It's true. But
I'm making Borb.
Well, which I love, because I remember the first time I ever saw like a Borb painting, and you're just sort of sitting there, and Borb is just sort of doing it, like just waving his arm around with his two, and you got a picture just sort of up in the corner, and then by the time you're done just chatting and talking and doing you got this cool little image, and it's nice. I totally get that Bob Ross vibe off of it. That variety is the spice of life thing, man. That thing that is so important for, I don't know, I guess for just people who need to keep moving and keep changing and evolving. Like that video, 5 years ago, you used to sit down, and now you stand up, and there's just so many different things that you do, things that are so different. Why? First of all, I wanted to know, hey, Duck, looking good, still fanning off. He's still got the vapors.
Oh, I forgot I was here.
He's got the vapors. It's okay. I love all Tom's show. I'm so glad we all have the honor to know so many aspects of your person. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to mess
Hi,
that
Clavion.
up.
Thank you.
Adam, I appreciate that. Do you have any secret plans to launch any new shows or characters for Twitch soon? That's from
Absolutely.
Adam.
I'm always working on it. I mean, I've got sketches in my sketchbook all the time. I can show you some secret plans. No.
Yeah.
I had an idea for a show called it's really hard to see this, but it's called The Quiet Place, and it's kind of like another drawing show. But it would be like this silhouette character that doesn't talk.
Oh.
And then I was gonna wear a green screen glove and draw on actual paper with a real, like a physical drawing on paper, but green screen out my hand and make it some kind of texture.
Oh.
So it's kind of like this weird mixture of real life and sort of an animated kind of thing. Because one thing that bothers me about Twitch sometimes is how hyper things can get, and it's like with alerts and everything and stuff popping up and noises and bells and alerts. And I'm thinking about, it would be cool to do some shows that are like, this is a quiet show, and nothing really loud happens or anything. And kind of, but there's also a part of me that's a little nervous of like changing stuff so drastically, like that people would come in and raid hoping it's some kind of zany moment,
right,
and it's just not,
and it's just this chill thing where Tom's just trying to get some meditation in. This is for me, folks. This is for me. You guys enjoy. Well, Thank you.
So I'm always working on new Borb hat ideas too.
There you go, folks.
Hamburger.
Borb hat. Borb is out and about.
Oh, this is a weird one for today because there's smoke flowing into Seattle. But I had this idea of a world where I have a match that I strike, and then I have to light different things on fire, and then there's this consecutive like lighting things on fire, but it's not like actual like burning like ow stuff. It's just kind of transformation. Not really. I mean, I don't know. Some of these are very abstract, you know.
Yeah.
Here's my number slam original idea for number slam stuff. I don't know if you caught that before.
I've never seen.
It's like a basketball game.
The only thing I know that flies through the air is the Doritos, which I love.
Yeah.
I love that.
Actually, I think I can make that happen right now.
Oh my gosh.
If I do one in my my chat. Where's the... Yep, there it goes. Senior Pancake, thanks for the... It's still active. It's Clavion is gonna have one. Oh, it might have missed that one. Toot. Anyways,
for those who are listening right now, Duck is catching Doritos from that are being thrown through the chat, and Duck is Tom's animated character who decided to join the interview today. So I like that idea of risk. I like that idea that, you know, like you got these ideas that you want to... Oh, there it goes. From Tom. He missed that one, I think.
Oh, well, it's tricky because they have to do it through my chat.
I see.
Through on my, you know.
I got you.
It's a little...
it's all good. It's all good. But I appreciate you breaking them out for us like that. It's like taking them out. Well, I like the idea of risk and what that means. You know, like you obviously have something really interesting and cool that people want to come back and see all the time. And to sort of throw a wrench in the middle of that is it's you know, it's ballsy, you know. Well, I mean, you haven't done it yet, but you know, something that you want to do. Mm-hmm. I feel like that as an artist, that's constantly what we're doing. I feel like as artists, we're constantly taking risks, constantly betting on ourselves. What do you still have I mean, obviously you have some apprehension to it because, you know, like we're saying, you have something good going on here, but is there anything else that you sort of makes you apprehensive about doing new things and changing up routines?
Yeah, I mean, every time you taste a little bit of success, there's always this kind of, oh, well, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to lose followers or something like that. But I don't really worry about that as much as I used to, honestly. I think that when Instagram was younger and like, you know, like maybe 5 years ago and earlier, there was this big, like, a lot of different ideas about what makes you, you know, spreadable as far as viral stuff, about being consistent with your content and curating it right and stuff like that. I've never really been good at that, and I felt bad about it for a long time, and now I really don't care because I'm like, I realized that I'd rather just make the things that I need to make, and I know that the weirdos that love it will follow. I'm actually afraid to be fully weird, honestly. Sometimes during my streams, I'll get experimental, and people are like, "This is amazing! I love it when you get weirder." And I'm like, "Are you sure? This feels like it's breaking down, you know?" And it's not breaking down. It's fine, buddy. You know. Well, so I am you know, we got rated this past week by Kip Boga, which was a huge burst of new people, and that was really cool. But then there's also the stiffness that happens when you get more exposure, where you're kind of like, all right, don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
But I think the only way I think the biggest threat to my work is actually taking on jobs. Like, honestly, like I had this big job. They were like, we only have a month to make this big video. And I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I would have to stop streaming to do it. And then that would just be the biggest mistake ever. You know? So I think as long as I'm moving and streaming and I think I'll be okay. I have to take a couple days off every now and then, but it's too fun, and sometimes I get tired, but like it's the spark that keeps me coming back is oh man, what if I could do this one thing, and I'm like, that would be cool, and then I get like super into making it work and engineering it, and then when I get to show it, it's just like a huge joy for me, you know.
It's funny how much time you put into like for me with videography and stuff. I'll put like in like 2 seconds of time, I'll put like 4 or 5 hours into this 2 seconds, and it's like the greatest 2 seconds of the whole video. And but you put all this time into it, and when you present it and it goes over and it works, it's like there's nothing more satisfying than seeing your stuff go over in that way. What's up, Not Julia? Thanks for hanging out.
And another kind of unexpected, unpredictable aspect of it is that even if I don't update my stuff, like if I'm using a version of Cartoon Mess Live that doesn't have any new animated features in it or anything, the fact that there is a live audience watching, it makes all the difference, because sometimes the people's comments change everything, and I sometimes we get into these funny realms by bouncing off each other. Yeah. So I realized that when I'm at my lowest creatively, like where if I need to take a break, I should just take a break. But if I'm like wanting to stream but feeling like, oh, but I didn't do anything new, I think it's important. I think it's important for me to do it anyways and to be vulnerable in that way, because people in the chat they pour their life into it too. Right. And then it becomes this party, and it can cheer me up sometimes if I'm feeling a little low.
Yeah, no, definitely that live aspect, that feed, that feeling. I mean, even as a music performing too, like streaming, you see people's emotes going off, and like it's like the next best thing to like having a live audience.
Oh, totally. There's none of that right now, so it's just like holy shit, exactly. Like we can have a community,
Hell yeah. Clavio says that it reminds me of how I keep finding old drawings from me, but they are all far from being even a sketch. I admire your abilities to finish so many projects and make them real. That's actually that's on my list is finishing projects and getting past that, because for me as a musician, I have countless beats that are just started that I'll never ever go back to, and just countless pieces of music, countless videos that have started, which I'm getting better at finishing now. But have you ever experienced that? And Senior Pancake, I see your question. We'll get to that next, I promise. But how have you had troubles with that? Have you ran into those problems?
Sorry, I'm distracted by Senior Pancake's question. Yeah. Can you share some expert advice on how to secure my keyboard?
Go ahead, knock it out.
Is that because I dropped my keyboard? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. That's some inside joke.
I've got to get a 2-tier. That's all I say. Get a 2-tier keyboard thing. But anyways, no wobble blocks. You were asking me. Sorry, can you say your question again?
No problem. It just based on what Clavio was saying. But I'm sorry, I'm still laughing. Finishing projects, starting and not finishing. I feel like that's something universal for artists, that you start something, you don't finish it, and then it just fades into the background. And I don't know. Have you dealt with that before?
Oh yeah, I have a billion things. Like I'm actually sort of an art hoarder because I have so many starts, and some people call those false starts, but and Clavion, it kind of is sad to me that you said they're far from even being a sketch, but no, they are a sketch. A sketch is a rough idea. It doesn't have to be a finished work of art, but sometimes sketches are work of art. Like, I mean, it depends on how much of your soul you can pour into it, I think. And like, your little attempts at drawing are special and important because no one else does them the way you do them. Even if you're learning, you're still gonna touch it the way you touch it with all of the life experience behind you that has brought you to now. Like, you will draw with knowledge that no one has exactly like you, even if it's not as, refined or whatever. Great art is kind of just like a clear expression of like you can see something else in it beyond just, it's a face. You see humanity, you see yourself in it sometimes. And especially if you have fun sketching, do more, keep doing it. It's not a contest. It really isn't. But I make so many things because I have so much fun. Sometimes I think I have a little too much fun. My wife, there's been many times where we're talking and then I'm like, it's like,
I have an idea.
And she's like, wait, she's like, Tom. I'm like, okay, sorry, yes, I'm sorry. I just thought of a funny idea. But yeah, I have, I had a blog like in the, I don't know, somewhere around 2008, 2009, 2010. And I remember having a point where I was like, I think I'm done with art. Like, I feel so stressed because I don't know how to establish myself with it. I don't know how to make a career of it. I don't know what I even want to do,
Right.
Did you ever reach a point like that in your music
so many times.
Past?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like when I first moved to California, and I lived in San Diego for 13 years. And when I first moved out there, I went to college for 1 year, took one sociology class, and was like, I'm gonna dedicate my life to saving all the oppressed people of the world. And I was like, fuck music, bro. That ain't gonna do nothing for nobody. I'm doing it like this because I really want to make a difference. And blah, blah, woof, woof, all the things that you say when you're a young man or young person and you feel like you can defeat the world and then you grow up and realize that the world is crushing and you just got to deal with it. I'm just kidding. That's not how I look at the world. But, so the idea of getting past, like these stopping points, these things that just halt you in the middle of it. I mean, I'm sure in some cases there's, you have deadlines. So like that doesn't matter. You have to keep pushing forth. But on these things on your own creative side, in your own endeavors, how do you get past those, start and stop projects? How do you overcome that? Or, I mean, I realize that you just said I have a billion of them still, but how do you decide? How do you figure out? How do you want to pursue the next thing, or even, go back to something?
I don't have a system or anything, and I often get depressed. Like if I go into my garage and I see piles of artwork and piles of canvases and I'm just, there's all this unfully realized work that I feel sad about. But, one thing I learned a year or two ago or a couple years ago was that even false starts from the past can revisit you as keys to now. And like, I keep a little box of art. Like whenever I make art that feels sort of totally like I actually don't really care about it, but there's something kind of interesting about it. I'll just throw that art into this little box. And so once in a while, I'll take that box and make collages with those elements. So the interesting thing about that to me is that these pieces of art failure that I don't really even care about that much become these like objects. Like they're these old, it's almost like going into a thrift store or something where there's all this eclectic old stuff that feels very specific and from different places. Because if you collect little experiments over the years, you have all these different eras of material and texture. And so I think that's a good metaphor for what old work can be, even if it's never completed, because you never know. In 20 years, I could pick up all of these unfinished things and know what I want to do with them now, you know? But as far as day to day right now, I tend to just follow my, what's his name? What's that, anthropologist dude? Joseph Campbell often said, follow your bliss. As far as your subconscious like what you are drawn to, like follow it, you know? Yeah. And, like for me, that can be a little bit like I'm scattered because I'm like, oh, I see this and I want to do it now, but I'm supposed to do that, but I'm going to avoid that for a little bit because I really want to do this.
Yeah.
But I've kind of realized that I've done enough work for a long time to know when I'm doing like another idea I've heard is the Devil's Playground. What's that?
Idle Minds or the Devil's Playground. Oh, it's a blog.
He shows stats with cartoons. Ah, shoot. Can't remember. Does anyone know? He talks about like cloning and how it would actually work, and he talked about when you procrastinate, he'd go into the Devil's Playground where he's doing things and he feels bad about it later and as he's doing it, but he's just, you know, because I still procrastinate. But there are times where I procrastinate by doing what I actually really want to do. Right. You know, there's these different versions of procrastination.
Right.
And there was actually a time early in this year where I had jobs lingering that people wanted me to do their work. And I would it had this kind of propelling, oh, wait, but why? Thanks, Grandma. The website was Wait, But Why.
Wait, by why? Thanks,
that's a really fun website. But the work that I was supposed to be on the hook for had this propelling quality because I wanted to get the hell away from it. Yeah. You know, because
get it done.
Because like you follow, like your desires are suddenly revealed as soon as they're like, hey, you got to do this. It's gonna take you weeks. You're like, no, I want to go over there. I want to play in the yard. Go play in the yard, Tom. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I feel that, and honestly, I'm in the middle of stuff. Well, I'm at the very end of a project just like that, where I'm just like, I want to add this to stream. I want to do this with the podcast. I want to start like making these beats. I want to start getting these done. I want to start making more music for the show. I want to start doing this and this and this. But wait, you have weeks and months of editing to do. Go fuck yourself. It's just what happens. And I'm so happy that I'm like next week is the last week I have to deal with it until probably next year. But fuck it, that's next year. And so I can't wait to get this project behind me. But yeah, so
well, I think it compounds. Like it does. The longer you're finding yourself in that position, the less willing you are to put yourself in that position. Hopefully,
exactly.
Because I'm slowly learning to say no faster.
Yeah. No. And, me too, man.
You know, yeah, it's tough though because there's a cost. There's a sacrifice to following your dreams, basically. You know, like
yeah.
And sometimes the balance can get off balance. Like if we ran out of money, you know, like I would need to work and I would just have to suck it up and not stream as much unless streaming could replace that right. money that I could be working. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that need to just fill the spaces, you know, like just fill this time. Like I can't. This year has been the perfect year for me, and just learning it and just being comfortable with it. There was this band that I was kind of on the hook because I wanted to play with them, and they had cool gigs, and I still like playing out and stuff. But they had these cool opportunities that, you know, I would have really liked to have been a part of. But there were some personality issues, and I'm getting older, and these guys are younger, and you know, I kept them on the hook kind of because I sort of wanted to still be in that world and still be a part of that like touring and doing all that. And you know, as soon as this pandemic hit, and they were still trying to like, he was like, you know, come on, man, let's go record in the studio. And this is like April, so it's like a month after everything shut down. He's like, we're going into the studio. I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere in enclosed spaces with you. And then so I told him to give me time, and of course 2 months later he comes back like, okay, you ready to do this? And finally I'm just like, okay. Like by then I had just already switched gears, and I was like, no, I'm not ready. I don't want to do that, and no, I'm not gonna. He got mad. Yeah. I mean, how do you have you dealt with people where you say no and they get like offended?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I have gotten into sticky situations, but it's funny. Like last January, a client I have who's been a regular client for a while hit me up for a last minute project. They were like, we need a video. I mean, it's a couple weeks of work and they need it in a couple weeks. It was like tight. And I had the boldness to just say, you know, I don't think I want to do this. I'm devoting myself to this live stream. And then I got like a phone. Well, this is through email. And then I got a phone call right away. And then they were like, hey, how you doing? So what are you working on? Like, what's this thing you're doing? Like, and then like they were being really nice and like, look, we really need a video.
Yeah.
We really need this. And so I did feel really bad, but they weren't being mean or anything.
Right.
But they emphasized that they were very in need of this. So I basically just hiked up the price, and it was pretty high. And it was sort of like, I'll do it for that.
Yeah.
That will be worth it for me because that will fund Cartoon Mess Live for months, you know. And and then they were like, sure. And I'm like, okay. Oh. And then so I was busy. So there's this period in late January, early February where I was working really hard on this thing, and but I don't know. I feel like I'm really backing off long-term projects. I've been working on some little, 20-second animation things for YouTube, commercials for companies, but those, I can just put in a few days and then I'm done,
Right.
And
yeah, it's not like a month.
I did some lyric videos for a band, and that was murder. Oh my gosh. Because it's like 4 to 6 minutes long songs, and making animated elements, and it was just like, it took forever. They stopped me out in last August, like a year ago, and I started off and on, and then I finished it like 2 months ago. Like, it took so long to make 4 videos.
Now, is that so? That seems like, did they just give you like a project and no deadline? I mean, like, because that just seems
right. No deadline. They were like,
mistake.
It was just it wasn't tied to a release.
Right.
It was just kind of like content that they wanted to have, and it was like from scratch content, like coming up with the characters and creating the look and how it works and stuff. And so it took a lot of thought, and I harnessed my animation tools that I've built to actually, because it was like 9 characters singing the song together.
Oh, wow.
But I made it so, like with Duck, I made it so I could use my fingers to control multiple characters at once. So they could like all be like swaying and singing.
Right.
And I'm controlling them. So I just had to like learn the song and listen to the track and play along to it. And then I could record the performance, put it in the video. Wow. A lot less time spent animating.
So that helped. So the program that you use, it allows you to almost use to animate in a sort of like puppet way, like you're controlling puppets, and instead of animating each character frame by frame by frame, singing together, you were just doing your little puppet show kind of thing. And I'm not trying to minimalize it. I didn't mean to call it a little puppet show. That sounded rude. That's not what I meant.
It's a little puppet show. It's just
Senior.
Fuck, you weren't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it.
Senior Pancake had that loaded. He was back. Senior Pancake, thank you for that Dorito.
Thank you, Senior Pancake, for trying.
That was great.
Yeah, it is just you know, buttons, just but it's, you know, it's a mixture of engineering animation sequences to work really well together, and I think that's part of the thanks, Pompey, for the burp alert. It's a mixture of, it's like not just literally like binary like press button thing up here. It's, you know, I have programming experience, so I'm able to actually engineer really specific complex systems that wait for certain things and will do certain things while other things are waiting, and it's kind of like making games actually.
Wow.
So it's really fun. It's like Legos for me. Like, I just love building a little system, you know, and there's just a mix of auto and like using keys that have multiple combos, and if this is on, this button does something different, you know, modes, and it's so fun to do it.
It's almost like MIDI mapping with like and sequencing MIDI and stuff, but like it just seems way more complicated for my musician brain, because you add in imagery and all this shit. I don't know what's going on. It's really interesting. I love the idea that you like custom made your little world, and that you, what I've found as I get older and as you kind of go through these different phases of learning and artistry and whatever you're going through, is that you get to this point where you're using all of that information, no matter how insignificant at the time it was to you, it's still, you're using it to sort of craft what you're doing now. I mean, if you're paying attention, I would say. I would like to say that, first of all. If you're paying attention. And I don't know, because it seems like, you know, you said you got a little bit of engineering or, you know, programming, and then you got a little bit of this and that, and you sort of were able to put it together. I don't want to say cobble, because your shit does not look cobbled together, but you're able to sort of put it together in this really interesting package. I mean, do you agree with that sentiment, or is this, I mean, did you learn as you, I'm just curious, and like, I don't know, does that make sense, first of all?
I was a little distracted because, hey, it's you.
It's me, everybody.
Hey, it's me, Mike.
How did I get in there?
This is my podcast with Tom.
I see what you mean about teeth. They do look offensive, or what did you call Thank you for making... Mike, I was just curious. Oh, well, I didn't know. I didn't know it was you until you wrote your name there, Mike. I was just curious. How long have you been living there in Seattle? I'm just curious, Mike.
Mike. Me?
Yes, you.
Or Tom?
Mike.
I've been here about a minute.
A minute. Wow.
1 minute.
And what have you been able to accomplish in that time, sir?
I made a beat with my mouth. There we go. That's the beat.
Thank you.
That's very good, Mike number 2.
I like that. Sorry. I'll be Mike number 2. Oh, thank you for the claps, Reina. I appreciate the claps.
So I might have missed your question, but was it about like that I'm...
No, it was more of an observation, and I was just seeing if you agreed with it, but we could totally move on with that, because it was just more of me expounding on a thought, really, than a question. So we don't have to do that.
From what I remember of what you said, it's kind of like it's just a pile of stuff.
Right, you build your toolkit over years, and oh, thank you, Wallace. Wallace loves the duck. Yeah, that was my... I guess
I love you, Wallace.
Oh, look.
Wallace, so beautiful. Wallace Nelson.
Out there doing it. That's Mod right there. Mod love. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's just certain things like programming stuff. Did you go to school for programming, or is that something you self-taught?
Self-taught, actually. So I'm 35, and so I was, getting into the internet around 99, 2000, and I was taking tons of tutorials online with JavaScript, and Flash was getting big at the time. So I invested in bought Flash, and I just the fact that you could make games with it, and I making websites. It was so, I was in high school, so I had tons of time. So I'd just be on the computer all the time, taking tutorials, learning programming. But it's all self-taught. Yeah, I just took online stuff, no school or anything.
Yeah,
but then I've been working since then. I literally have been working with Flash for 20 years because my job later, before I quit, when I was making the portraits at work, I was doing I was constantly programming in Flash, but for that job too. So I kind of stayed invested in programming and stuff. Yeah.
Just that weird thing where you're just at home and a high schooler and you're just teaching yourself Flash. It's like I took like this adult learning class about like design with Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff, the Adobe suite. And like I forgot all about it, and then all of a sudden now I have to create flyers and I have to do all these things. I learned how to do iMovie just for fun, like back in the day, and now I have to like use Final Cut and know how to do all these things. Thank you.
I erased the other mic, so I got to make a new one.
Okay, I'm into it.
This one's gonna be better though.
It looks much better already.
Yeah.
It looks way better. I'm not offended by this one, Tom. Tom, you got really. Oh, you know what? While you draw that, I have to redeem someone's. Someone wants me to sing you a song, Tom.
All right, go for it.
So I have to sing you a song while Tom draws me again. I'm gonna sing "It's Raining Tacos" for Oh Hey Nephew, because he used his fresh bars. And I like to punish myself. So give me seconds. Tacos. Okay. Wait. I already know. Oh my God! Things just happened. Thank you for that.
I know that sound. I know.
Yeah. It was my keyboard falling. Oh my gosh, hold on guys. You guys just give me this. Oh my God. Sound effects are going off. Nothing's broken, just my ego. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh my gosh. I am just a mess today.
That's why my show's Cartoon Live Mess. It's just a mess, man.
It's like it's in the name. You know what to expect, okay?
Yeah.
Don't be coming in here expecting all that. Oh, come on. It's just... Oh, wow.
It's okay. I'm drawing. People are watching me draw. We got some visual stuff happening here.
I appreciate, Tom, that you're entertaining everyone while I fail miserably. But that's the good part about art, is that you have all these little failures that you get to learn from.
Wait, this is mic number 3.
Oh my! Oh, mic number.
Oh my!
Oh,
I'm mic number 3.
Hey.
What's up? Hey everybody.
Hey, mic number 3. You're much sexier than mic number 2 was.
I'm sexy. I think I look pretty good.
I think so, baby. I think you look fly. All right. I swear to gosh, everyone, that things are gonna happen soon. I promise.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, folks. Okay, so I'm going to sing this song for Oh Hey Nephew because he was so nice to use his fresh bars, and then we're gonna get back to Tom. Oh, thank you for the cats. I love the cats. Okay, here we go, folks. I finally did things. Oh my. All right, this is for you, Oh Hey Nephew. Thank you for doing this to me. I guess I did it to myself, folks. All right, here we go. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Oh my God, I'm in the wrong key. Let's try that again, everybody. Hey. All right, here we go. It's raining tacos. Wait. Okay, we're gonna do this one more time. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Okay. One more time, okay? I'm nervous, all right? Mic 3 has got me all nervous. There's some ladybug. Okay, here we go. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos. No need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos. Out in the streets, tacos. All you can eat, lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining taco, yum, yum, yummity, yum. It's like a dream. Yum, yum, yummity, yum. More sour cream. It's raining tacos. Ooh, tacos. Ooh, tacos. Ooh, it's raining tacos. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos. No need to ask why. Open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. Okay. There you go.
Ooh,
oh, hey, nephew.
Way to go. Mic
Yay.
number 1.
Yay.
Way to go.
And it's literally raining tacos, everybody.
Right.
Holy.
It's raining tacos.
Oh, and I never recorded. Oh, good. Good. Oh, thank you for the claps, Reina Mystique. I appreciate it. Thank you for sitting through that, Tom. I appreciate that as well.
Oh, yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy, for the bits. I appreciate it. For those 200 biddies, you wonderful human being. Well, like your show is silly and your show is funny and silly and funny. And there's a lot of improv in it too. I'm just curious, do you have a background in improv, or are you just this is just coming out of nowhere? Like, because you have this thing where you do like a word generator, and it's just two random words, and then you just sort of go off. So I'm curious, is do you have a background in improv, or is this just what you
I did take 2 classes last year.
Oh, okay.
So it was a more recent endeavor, because as I was trying to stream more, I thought, well, I should take some improv,
Yeah.
And formally, I had gone to improv shows growing up and enjoyed them for the most part, but I took one class and I didn't really like the class very much. But then I took another class that was a little bit more, well, it was just better teaching, and it was smaller, and I learned a lot more. But it was almost actually too much for me at the time, because I realized that I don't play well with others as well. Like, so when I do my show, and it's almost like a monologue, right? Because I have all these characters, but I'm doing it all, and I know exactly what's about to happen all the time. As far as like, I'm going to switch to that character, they're going to say something. I'm doing all that. But when I have to listen to someone else and be in the moment, well, I mean, a good example is like having a live guest. So, I mean, right now we're just talking, so I don't have to manage all this stuff. So I can listen to you, and we can listen to each other. But when I'm doing my show and I have a live guest, I start to get these huge holes in my attention, and I start to miss things. And it's very hard for me to keep up with what other people are saying and what I'm doing. And with improv, I struggled a lot with, I would go into scenes with some people and I would just shut down, because I would be so intent on like trying to focus on what they're saying that I wouldn't know what I'm planning to do.
Yeah.
and it was just kind of tough. Yeah.
Well, and by the way, I think that's what you're supposed to
But
do.
if I do my own thing, if you say, what's that?
Oh no, go ahead, please.
It's weird. It's cutting you off.
Oh, okay. How about now?
No, your audio is cutting out. Sorry.
Oh, that is weird. Has it been doing it the whole time?
It's like I think it's the auto mix minus thing where it makes us not overlap each other or whatever.
Oh, I see. I just took you out of that mode. Wow. Here we are again, folks.
That's okay.
We're making it happen, Gavin. No, I was wondering what you were about to say, but if you forgot, that's okay.
I was gonna say that if you said, "Hey Tom, go up on stage and do an improv monologue," totally could do it.
Oh, really?
No worries. But if you say, "Tom, go up and work with this person and come up with something silly together," I get really like sweaty and I start to worry, and worry is the enemy of improv. You're not supposed to worry, but no matter how much I tell myself, it's just chill, Tom. It's okay. It's a safe place. They want to have fun. Right. You want to have fun. But no, I guess deep down I take it very seriously, even though I'm having fun. But I feel a sense of control with my show or when I'm doing a monologue. But as soon as I have to listen, I'm a bad listener, Mike. That's what I've learned is I'm a bad listener. My wife knows this. My friends know this. But I do care.
Yeah. And
I do care though.
And like you can tell, and I get those modes too, where it's like you're so deep and you're so entrenched in whatever you're thinking about that everything else sort of becomes muted, and all you have is your thoughts. And then when they're done talking at you, you're just like, my wife knows it too about me.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better at it through just having to like be on the show and stuff, like with talking to people like this all the time. It's really helped hone in those skills. Improv, I was doing improv too last year and the beginning of this year until the pandemic, and it really helped me in regards to this, just being able to bounce ideas back and forth and to be able to be in a moment without trying to think, because what you're saying when you're like, you're trying to focus on what they're saying so you can react, so that you're not in your own head. You're not supposed to be thinking about what you're going to do. You're just supposed to go, right? It's supposed to be something. And for me, I would have this hard time with listening to people, and then I would have this horrible worry that when they're done with their sentence, that I'll have nothing to say, and we'll just be sitting there in awkward silence. And so I'd always be trying to come up with the next thing instead of just trying to listen back and forth and just respond. And that is a very hard thing. I don't know, were you diagnosed with ADHD or ADD at all?
No, not officially.
Officially.
Well, I mean, I don't think I have any serious... I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like we're all on a spectrum of some sort of mental deficiency.
Yeah, I feel
like, I mean, as far as like, my wife is super good at hearing auditorily. Like, she'll remember stuff, like, but I'm horrible at repeating audio information. And sometimes my mom would call, or my mom would like say something to me, and she would get mad because I would say what first before responding. But it's funny because sometimes I remember that when I would say what, it was after I say what, I process what she said.
Yeah.
So it was like my what was like a grasping for the words. Yeah. And she perceived it as like me being like ignoring her. Yeah. And the truth is that, if I drop everything and look you in the eye, that will help me focus better. It will help me hear you.
Right.
And so there's a part of it that is, that can be helped by discipline, by setting things down and looking at someone when they're talking to you.
Yes.
That helps.
Yeah, put your phone down, close the laptop.
But if I'm doing something else, I'm totally gonna like have a gap in processing, and then but I don't think it really. I mean, I got A's in school and stuff. I did okay in school and stuff. It wasn't a problematic thing, but I think that the bigger thing with me, and this gets into more personal stuff, but I've been doing therapy for a couple of years off and on, and I've learned about disassociation as a coping mechanism, and I think that's basically what it is disassociating, like in an improv setting. When I'm working with someone else, there's this sort of subservient mode I get into, where I'm looking for the right places to step to not get stepped on. Yeah, like that's like my dynamic when I'm in a improv situation. So that from the get-go is the wrong mentality, because I'm worried about getting in trouble or saying the wrong thing or getting in trouble. And like, so I've been learning to face that a little more, but it's gonna take, who knows, years to get over, or to grow through, because no one I'm doing improv with wants to control the situation, unless they're domineering. But I mean, sometimes that can happen. I mean, but no one's there to run it, but because it's about the group effort, right? And like, but it's hard for me to even trust that sometimes, because I've got this echoes of dealing with people that are angry, from my childhood or my, growing up, and learning to dodge potential anger by being helpful, quiet, or going along with whatever they're doing. Yeah. And not being able to insert myself equally, in the situation or whatever. And so all I can do right now is acknowledge that that's what happens to me. I don't know what to do with it yet. I don't know how to grow. I don't know how to be better at it.
Well, acknowledging it, I think, is the first step, because I'm in therapy too, man. In the last couple of years, I mean, it's helped me so much with processing like childhood scars. Like you gotta like sort of work through these things, and to be able to. It's just so strange that you could just talk to somebody, and you're just talking things through, right? You're just chatting, and then. I don't know, man. Like it did help. It did help. But I think recognizing that and then what my therapist suggests is sort of like leaning into it a bit. Like for me, I get really anxious. Like before this, I mean, my hands are sweating like crazy right now, and I've done a lot of work with not showing how fucking scared I am. You know what I mean? It's taken a long time to get past that, but I still have that. And so meditation and exercise and having these preemptive, like, not letting things anger me, because I have that same sort of thing where like I go through, like, I will make sure that I go. Sometimes you just lean into it and you just bite into the anger and you just go with it because it feels good for me. But like most of the time I'm trying to skirt that for no reason. And maybe we're different in that sense. I'm just saying, like, for me, I can jump real easily to anger, but in these last couple of years, I've been able to sort of work out methods that sort of help, dissipate that. Because most of the time, the things that you're getting angry about aren't really things to get angry about, right? Like, I mean, sometimes they are, but like for me, it could be just, I don't know, dropping my iPad. Like, a couple years ago, dropping my iPad in the middle of a thing might have sent me into like a small little rage. Now I just sit there and laugh stupidly because it's like, it's just a fucking iPad. You know what I mean? It's nothing. And to sort of step away from that, and therapy helped with that. But Clavio, I wanted to say, a good method of communicating with someone with processing problems is to catch their attention first and then ask the question. Like if your mom went to Tom and waited for you to say yeah, it'd be easier for you to process words better.
Totally.
Yeah. Just even knowing that about another person, to know that you have to sort of give them this like moment to catch up. I mean, that just helps in relationships in general.
So, Senior Pancake, yeah, you actually have been diagnosed with central auditory processing disorder. Interesting.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't know if I could be diagnosed, but I don't know. I think I'm actually. It's probably just some sort of slower processing of audio. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can usually manage it. It hasn't got me into huge trouble or anything. But it is complex because sometimes it isn't just purely like that. I can't hear what people are saying right away. It is influenced by what I'm thinking about for sure. And I mean, whether I'm thinking through a show idea or something like that, then I'm like totally not here. And there's nothing that will bring me here except for totally interrupting it with, like, I even in the last 24 hours, I've pissed my wife off by not listening to her and being lost in my head. And it was disrespectful of me to like fully. I mean, it's okay to think of ideas, but you have to do it at the right time. And
right.
And I mean, if I'm struck with an idea, I need to maybe just put the brakes on the conversation, write it down, and then revisit it. Or something like that. But I mean, yeah, I struggle with the discipline of actually respecting the people around me enough to give them my full self, you know?
Yeah. And
sometimes I've favored my ideas over people in the moment.
And you know, like, that's just how it is sometimes, you know, like that. I feel like that's just like, if you're going to be with an artist, I feel like that you got to understand that if you're going to, I mean, not, and with anybody, I mean, just being with somebody, your partner, is like, you got to really accept who they are as a person, and it can still piss you off. Obviously, I'm the same way, man. Like, my wife is just like, bro, put your phone down, put the can we just, and a lot of times she has to like physically just sit on me. She'll just come and sit on me. Just be like, no, you got to stop now. And like right at the beginning of the pandemic, it was really bad because, I mean, I was like, you know, I was ignoring people. Oh, thank you so much, Senior Pancake. I appreciate those biddies. I need to hop back into
Thanks,
work meetings. Thank you, We Speak English, for conducting this interview. Hey, Senior Pancake, I appreciate it. And Senior Pancake does... He hears.
Thanks for sharing, Senior Pancake. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I mean, I really do appreciate you sharing that piece of you. I hear perfectly, but oftentimes my brain has difficulty processing spoken language. I'll hear words wrong sometimes, and sometimes won't even be able to process someone's words. Yeah, I get there. I get that with reading too. I get that with reading, where I'll read like a whole page, and I'll be like, oh, I guess I was thinking about something else. I should probably go read whatever the fuck I just read. That is like. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I've been there too with reading and auditory processing. I mean, people have different speeds. It doesn't mean that you're disabled or anything. It just means that you're slower than someone else, and some people are super fast. And I know, I mean, my wife's super fast at reading and auditory, but I mean, I've got speed with visual analyzation and spatial analyzation, so I'm very sharp with spatial relationships. And that's actually contributed to my show because everything has its place and I know exactly where it is and I can jump to it and dial something really quickly. And I just I don't even have to think about it at all. It's all there. It's muscle memory, it's there, you know.
And no one moves things around while you're not there. That's the fun thing about having kids and a family, is like things get moved. I have no sense of direction. Yeah, me neither. Oh God, the reading attention thing.
These move all the time. These. It's like, where's the pencil? Jess and I are always like, where's the pencil? Why isn't there any pencils? We have like 100 pencils. There is no pencil here anymore.
Well, your wife is an artist too, right?
Yeah, she is. She's a very talented designer, illustrator. She can do so many beautiful things, and we met at art school, actually.
Aww.
And
and just and it's stuck. That's nice.
I could I don't know, do links work in your
and links would
chat?
Not for you. But okay. I can put her I can bring her website up. and we can show some stuff.
Or her Instagram.
Sure. Let's do that.
Instagram.com/JustRayPhoenix, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Grandma.
Grandma. Oh, Reina. I just popped onto Reina's Instagram and
nice.
Wow, Reina, look what you got going on today. My wife likes to take pictures of her naked and put them on. It threw me off. It threw me off. All of a sudden there was just naked Reina, like, oh, there she is. Okay, what is it? It's just what?
Oh, I already put it in the chat.
You did it.
Yeah, I was permitted.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I didn't know that you could do that.
Oh,
That's
no.
Cool.
Oh, wait. No, it didn't work. I'm sorry.
It didn't work?
No, my mod thought it worked, but it didn't. No link for us.
It works for me. Interesting. Oh, no link for everyone else.
Just, okay. What is it? Just what?
Instagram.com/Jess, and then RAE, and then Phoenix.
RAE.
I put it in our chat in Discord if you need reference.
Oh, okay, right on. You know what? I got it right here, and I was about to follow, but this is Reina's Instagram, so I won't do that to her. I'm gonna pull that up so we can look at Jess's artwork, because that's really cool. And like I actually went through and looked at some of hers. I went to her website. It's beautiful. I love her flowers and like her silhouettes of flowers and stuff. Here is his Jess. She goes by Jess Ray.
Jess Phoenix.
Jess Phoenix.
You don't have to say. She just has Ray because Jess Phoenix was taken on Instagram, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So here's some of her art. And so what is this? What is she using? What's this medium?
Well, her process is primarily digital, but she does start with paper. She actually draws on tracing paper with marker, scans in like black or some monocolor kind of thing. Then she brings into Photoshop, colorizes the layers, and arranges them into these floral arrangements and stuff.
Wow! So mostly...
Did I say it right, Grandma?
Did I do it? Am I a good boy?
But she is trained in painting and illustrating on for real as well. I mean on like paper and everything. But most of her work these days is like a quick little sketch version on reel, scanned, and then digitized. So
gotcha.
Because there's just so much options with digitization, and also painting was like really hard on her body because it's like painting for hours and getting shoulder pain and stuff.
Well, is that kind of why you switched to standing up? Was you having some sort of pains? You started drawing standing up. Is that why you switched over to just standing up?
Oh, right. Yeah. Because I got a standing desk. Like it's an adjustable one that goes up and down, and which is convenient. Because I was just finding that sitting wasn't really good for me, and
it's not good for anybody.
I was getting lower back issues, and
oh my God, that's what's happening to me now. Yeah,
sitting is bad, but also standing too much is bad too. Doing anything too much is bad.
So I've found in life. I had to quit drinking for that very reason. Just didn't work out for me.
Yeah, you have to find a balance or have the discipline to mix things up. I do yoga in the morning every morning.
Oh, nice.
And that kind of helps my body stay, because I have to keep my hands and wrists pretty
limber,
pretty healthy.
Yeah,
and strong too. You have to keep them strong, because I found that pain comes from weakness. Actually, like
I'm sorry.
I would work.
That sounds like someone like a physical trainer would tell you. Your trainer is fucking pain is weakness.
A specific reason or a specific version of that is like I used to long ago use a mouse. So I'd be on a computer doing stuff using the mouse. So my hand is just like sitting still, and I'm using one muscle to click my finger, right? Well, over time, your wrist actually gets super weak. And then your carpal tunnel can get cramped up, and all your nerves are like compressed. But the thing is if you strengthen your wrist, then all of a sudden all the tissue's fortified, by like doing little weight lifting stuff and getting those muscles in shape. And I had pain for years in my wrist.
Wow.
Because my wrist was weak, and then I started strengthening my wrists, and I don't have pain there anymore, and they're not stiff anymore.
Yeah.
So they they feel good.
It's really crazy what just stretching and doing just physical movement will do for everything else. I mean, I yoga. I mean, that yoga to me is like the ultimate meditation, physical workout type of situation. I've only done like a couple yoga class, like real yoga classes. Every time I do it, I feel great, but every time I'm doing it in the moment, I feel like a fucking big fat whale flopping around, like bleh.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's very it takes a lot of skill, man. It takes a lot of skill.
Yeah.
So, are you into meditation and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it as much as I should, but I do believe in it. And I think it looks different for different people.
Yeah.
So I have a book recommendation if people are trying to think of a practical way to get into yoga. There's a book called Yoga for Pain Relief that I absolutely 100% recommend, because it's a book that will help you figure out what exercises you need to do with your body to get it back into balance, because it's about balance. And stretching is actually pretty scary. Like if you do it wrong, you can hurt yourself more. And if you don't warm up, you can hurt yourself. So it's a great book to teach you about learning to listen to your body and learn what's right for you. Yeah. But it's taken me over a year to kind of find a routine that works for me, and to find a way to, because my body has little ways of saying, hey, you're doing that too much. If you do it a little bit more, you're going to have a breakdown. Like your foot is going to like freak out, or you're going to pull a back muscle soon. Like there's little warning shots.
Oh yeah, totally. And if you're not paying attention, or if you're moving too fast, you can really hurt you. I did that just stretching. And by the way, Clavio, I hope that helps you, because Clavio was saying I need a good way to move that you can actually stick to. So maybe this book is something helpful for you that will help you get moving again. I would suggest, Clavio, is just to take a walk. Like the most basic thing you could do is just take a walk.
Walking's good. Yeah.
Walking is great. My wife had to get me into that, because when I work out, I want to fucking work out. I want to feel it, Yeah. But she really showed me, like, let's just take a walk. And yeah, there it is. Let's just take a walk. Let's just, oh, thank you so much for the gun show. Walking saves lives. I agree. And marriages. But the actual the movement of a walk, and what that does for my brain as well. Because there's a difference between strenuous running or jogging or lifting weights and just walking. I don't like just walking. It gets my brain going in a way that I'm able to sort of sort out ideas, because my brain works in like a clusterfuck. So I don't know. Do you get that same sort of thing out of it? Do you get that sort of? Oh
yeah, no. My wife and I have been talking about this a lot recently with the pandemic and the lack of being able to hang out normally with people and take breaks and take vacations and stuff. We've been realizing that there's been some issues with actually creating space for ourselves to process. So my wife's been going for morning walks. She goes on a walk by herself to see the world and to give her brain room.
Right.
Because when you are walking, especially, you get to see the world and experience it in this way that your body just flows. Like you just start having thoughts about what you have been maybe worried about or concerned about, or like what you want. And it can be a great time, because we realize that if you're not giving yourself that space and you're working too hard, when you go to bed, you lay down, all of a sudden your brain's like, oh, I finally have space because I'm in bed. But then you're like, no, I want to sleep right now. I don't want to think about that stuff. But it's like, but your brain's like, you didn't give me any time to do this. I'm gonna do it now. And it's like, nope. So you give yourself space during the day, so when you go to bed, you're ready to go to sleep, because you don't have to process all that stuff.
Oh, bro, you
you never gave yourself time to think about it.
It's funny you and your wife are talking about it. Me and my wife have been talking about it for the last 6 months because it's just because ever since the pandemic, like I haven't been able to sleep well, and mostly it's because I'll wake up and I'll just slam away at work and do whatever I got to do until it's time to go to bed. And I've honestly lost interest in watching movies. I don't care about watching TV shows anymore. It's like I could care less if I go see my friends. You know what I mean? Like I honestly am okay with just sort of sitting in this space. But you're right. At the end of the day, my brain either shuts down, and when everybody wants to be a family, when the family wants to be a family, daddy's sleeping on the couch and he's worthless, or I'm sitting in bed and I can't go to sleep, or I'm up at 2 a.m. and I'm just like, my brain's awake now. It's time to do stuff. And it's a mess. It's a mess.
That's where it really is a discipline.
It is,
and it's not fun.
No,
to because I found that also writing in the morning, like either a journal or just sort of like what's really bothering me right now, mind dump kind of thing.
Yeah,
that helps me a lot. And but yeah, you have to, like, I don't really work in the evening. I don't really work past 5 at all anymore. I used to do it a lot when I was younger, but it was kind of destructive, honestly, even though I thought, well, I'm being productive.
Right.
I'm getting stuff done. I'm banging this out. But it's like you're banging your body up too, and you're banging your relationship apart too. Like I had a breaking point in 2017 when I did this huge job for months on end of not 24/7 work, but like 12 to 16 hour days every day for like 4 months. And it had, I feel like, years worth of damage, because me and Jess are still kind of figuring out things that happen from that as far as our relationship and ways that she was wounded and I was wounded in the process. But it's also kind of like things coming to a head that were already there about myself. And so it wasn't just that this job from hell took over. It was that I wasn't ready to take care of myself in it. You know what I mean? And I was willing to just throw myself into the fire fully. Yeah. And but nowadays I would just kind of say, this is going to be a little late, or I can't work this many hours because I'm going to die if I do that.
Yes.
And it was just like too much. It was too much. And it was the most money I've ever made, and it totally wasn't worth it.
Wow.
In the end, honestly. Like, it was a huge job, and it millions of eyes saw it, but I never really got any satisfying interaction from it as far as like people seeing it and liking it. It was just it was for Wall Street Journal. We did this big campaign right after Trump was elected. It was kind of like the real news versus fake news push with news organizations and stuff. And yeah, it was hard, but it was a rewarding job in some senses, because I had to build a team and work with a team and like steer a job, and I found out what I'm capable of as far as like how much can we produce. It's like you shouldn't push it that hard. It's like turning it up to 11. You're gonna break the equipment or something.
Right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And those people who sort of do go that distance and sort of push themselves, they just, I never see those people as like really happy. Like those people who are, I didn't do anything. I was going to...
What's the cost?
Exactly.
Of success,
Right.
Yeah, it's success is weird. And even fame, I've heard... have you listened to WTF Pod?
Oh, of course, Mark Maron.
Yeah, Mark Maron's amazing.
Yeah,
and there were some interviews that really not changed my life, but like just kind of gave me these little tidbits of wisdom.
Yes, me too.
Mike Myers was interviewed by him once and had some really interesting things to say. Yeah, there's the art for Wall Street Journal. Those were intense. We had to make these 90-second animations, and then we had to make a portrait that was composed from art from the animation. So like all these little tiny pieces of art are being reused to make features of the face.
Yeah.
Like it was so huge of a job, and I was in charge of making the portraits, and I'm dealing with sign off from these journalists and legal and all these different. They're like, oh, their nose isn't right, you know. It's just
Yeah.
like so so sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
just dealing with people who aren't artists trying to direct your art. That seems like that could
yeah.
be annoying at times. But I'm sorry, I'm just getting lost in these drawings. There's so much to it. There's so much detail here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean, I had a team of like 4 or 5 illustrators and animators helping, and it was cool. And you know, it got printed in the newspaper, so I'd go to the grocery store and buy the newsprint with my art on it and stuff. So that was kind of fun.
Hell yeah.
But it kind of, I noticed that when I would look online, like on Facebook, when they'd post the videos that we made, all the comments were always in response to the content, not
the art,
like, to the subjects, not the art. It was completely lost. It was completely like transparent, like in the sense that it was just like watching a news video. It was just like, oh, that person, you know, is this or that, all this judgmental stuff, or like, oh, they're great, I love this person, but there was just no even mention that it was animated or that it was art.
Yeah, that just, this took months to create,
but yeah. I forgot what
you were talking about. Mike Myers.
I was saying right before that.
Mike Myers on WTF.
Oh yeah. So he said, you know, to sum it up, he was talking about how making great art is obviously like the biggest goal. It should be your biggest goal, but that fame is a sludgy byproduct of good art. And like, I mean, it doesn't always mean if you make good art you'll be famous, but if you seek fame, it's the wrong way to go, because it's just, there's nothing to gain from fame except for you might have more money, which can open up doors, but the things that come with it are just not beneficial really at all. And losing your anonymity and your and even having so many people involved and having to get approval through all these different processes if you're relying on other people or organizations, legal teams, all that stuff. So it's like the life of an artist can be simpler, but maybe more satisfying in the end, to not really worry about trying to be a big name or be a big thing, you know. It's just doing what you love every day is a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the real problem here when you think about kids who are looking into a life of art, is that a lot of times you want to be an artist, you want to be a musician or an actor. You just don't know how to do it correctly in a way that you can be, that you can make money and be self-sufficient, and no one tells you how to do that. That's shit you sort of have to learn on your own. And then from the time you're a little kid, you're being told, like, fucking, I don't know about you. I mean, your parents were probably nice. My parents were nice too, and they really did encourage me to do stuff. But they always told me is like, make sure you go to school and get a degree in something that, because something to fall back on, because when you inevitably fail at art and being a musician, when you inevitably just ass out on that, you're going to want some miserable job to have to, make up for that lost income and time. And so, like, you have a whole society, I feel like, in America at least, that sort of puts that weirdness on kids. They tell you that you see what the benefits could be of being an artist. You could have lots of money, be well known if that's what you want, whatever. But you don't really see what it takes to get there. And no one really tells you. No. And it's so all you have is your parents just sort of telling you is like, this is a stupid idea. Like, you should do something else, And then you have teachers and society at large telling you sort of to, this might not be. I feel like there's a huge. People are going up. Kids these days that want to go into art, I feel like they're up against a huge wall. But I think with the internet now, it's a lot easier for kids to sort of artists to sort of get their name out and sort of get known. But I don't know.
It's easy. It's easier to make sub communities.
Yes.
It's like you don't have to be a big player to have like a art community that actually can even help sustain you. You know,
right?
And it's not all or nothing that I've found but that can be hard because sometimes people have these big ideas. It's like they have dreams. You know, you grow up and people are like, "Hey, follow your dreams," but then they're also simultaneously going, "Wait, you know, keep it practical here. You know, don't go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna be the next, you know, Picasso. You know, or something like that." And it is this weird push and pull of like, you need to believe in your dreams and be bold, but you also need to be willing to work really hard, and when no one's supporting you to do it. You know.
Yeah, and, or get back in line and just
know when to no.
Go ahead.
Or know when. Well, I was gonna say know when to quit, but like that's a little harsh because it's not really know when to quit. It's more know when to pivot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And you know. And
you're right about that. Pivoting is you're because it's not quitting, because like you don't really quit being an artist unless you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go work at the factory. I'm done with that part of my life. Yeah. Then you've given up. That's fine. But like, you
and sometimes those moves have unexpected, empowering, motivating realities. Like, I mean, when I worked at that office company, you know. It wasn't really where I wanted to be, but it was like 4 years of building and cooking.
Yes.
To being where I wanted to go, because it gave me enough space that I could think about it a little bit, but I was also growing in other ways. And it's you have to look at it as a never ending process, because the idea of making it and becoming a big name doesn't mean anything. Right. Because even if you become the next Radiohead or some famous artist or whatever, then what? You know, are you still gonna be able to make the art you made before so many people were watching you?
Right.
Because if you can't, then you're gonna have a breakdown, and then you're gonna like question everything. You know, so you have to be ready to do it all forever. I mean, as long as you're alive or whatever. You know?
Yeah, the hustle never stops.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Well, I think that hustle and that fear of real struggle, and because I know what real struggle is, I assume you know what real struggle is. I mean, as an artist, maybe not. Maybe you've had a good life where you've been able to get work and what you like doing. But what I love about what you were saying is that office job that you sort of like, it didn't fulfill you in any ways, but it sort of prepared you to do all these other things. It was sort of like what we were talking about with all these things you accumulate over time in your tool belt, right? And like this, basically it's paid training is what you got. Is you got this paid training to learn how to do and like do it well and do it in a fast way, and efficiently. You were able to do lots of different things, and now you're able to sort of draw from that. I was the same way. Like I worked in an office, and it was just like it was prison. But what it taught me, what it forced me to do, was to learn how to organize my shit and stay organized. And I'm not still, but it helped me. But it helped me sort of prioritize work. It helped me, you know, like because sometimes you can have so much to do and you have so many options, you don't know where to start. And so it taught me how to prioritize what I need to do and how I need to do it and to get it done. Yeah. And so, I mean, those experiences are beautiful, even though they suck at the time.
Yeah. And, you know, you mentioned earlier, like how when you're young and you're starting out, no one tells you how to do certain things. And the truth is that even if they told you how to do it, it wouldn't work for you because it's not the same for everybody.
Right.
Because like, I remember I saw a talk with Brad Bird. He's, you know, he created The Incredibles and Iron Giant and some other animated amazing stuff. He's a director. He's just like cool, great mind. And he came and spoke at my school, and I remember just being so moved by him because he had such a root, because he worked on The Simpsons originally, and people were like, "Oh, how do I become a Simpsons animator?" And he's just kind of like, hey, slow down. Like, it's not going to happen to you the same way it happened to me.
Right.
You know, you got to find your own route, and it's gonna have all these different components. You know, there's gonna be parts that you hated that are great for you.
Right.
And you can't always tell when you're in them whether they're gonna be maybe something that changes your life in the end, you know? So you have to be careful how you judge where you are, but still persevere and everything. But like, yeah. And I mean, you mentioned also hardship, and like, we can't totally, you know, compare hardships as artists, but I think I've actually in some ways had it easier for sure, because I've had a one-sided vision with a few hang-ups here and there, that even when I was most discouraged at a job, I was still outputting.
Right.
But there's some people whose art process is so sensitive to having time that, like, if you work at a grocery store or a factory, you're not going to have any freaking time to paint, you know, like in a studio
right.
or something like that. And that's just like a tragedy to me, that's so sad to know that there's that desire and no time for it. But for me, I could pretty easily squeak in all this stuff, you know, in between the cracks of work and life. And sometimes it took it out of my marriage, like as far as evening, post work, dinner time, you know. But, you know, Jess is a creative person too, so we've kind of had a little bit of an understanding there, but sometimes it's gone overboard for me as far as the work, art, personal balance and stuff. But yeah,
man. Were you finished with your thought? I'm sorry. It's so weird trying to talking with people over computers, because you're constantly, I feel like I'm constantly stepping on what you're about to say, but it's
there is that floating threshold where there's a delay, and then you realize that they're starting to talk, and you're like,
yeah. You know, like it always comes sort of down to like what you see as success. You know, like what is it that's success to you? Is success being this, you know, on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine and listen how old I am. Oh, the cover, what being on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine meant something. That's how old I am. But you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is success to you? Is it this really overblown idea of what, you know, of fame and fortune, or is it being able to create and do what you want to do, living freely, and not being like pinned down to an office, and being able to pay your bills with what you created out of your own head, you know, like, to me, that's success. To me, that's like ultimate success. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that for the last few years. But, you know, I've fucking been in the trenches, son. I've done, but it's just, was there ever a point in your life where you stopped questioning yourself and your decisions with art, like where you really trusted your instincts? Is there a moment in your life, or is there a time that
it's gone up and down, man? Because like I think from the age 13 on, I knew art was gonna be a thing for me, like, and I wasn't sure whether it meant I'm gonna just live off of art somehow. But also having the technical side of learning Flash and programming and all that, which I still use now. I mean, it's funny, like the technical side, like that's been kind of my personal fallback plan of just like, well, I know how to program a bit. I could probably get into that if I needed. But I've had various points in my life where I've had to, where I'd see a building, sort of confrontation between, I can either just keep going this way, or I'm gonna like interrupt it and go somewhere else, and it's gonna hurt maybe a little bit, or it's gonna cost me. And the first thing was choosing college, because it was signing up for $100,000 plus debt, and my parents didn't have money for that, and my dad advised me not to do it, and my mom was like happy to co-sign my loan because she believed in me, but was, you know, kind of nervous about it, but she believed in me, and my dad believed in me too, but he, you know, he's more blue collar, and it just seemed sort of unnecessary to him, you know.
Of course.
And So I had to go against my dad's wishes, and I grew up in Seattle, and then I went to college in Rhode Island on the other side of the country, and so it was also going away and saying goodbye to my world and to my family for a while. But I met my wife at art school. I got a great education. I've had good jobs ever since, and it just totally. And I paid off all my school debt 2 years ago. Wow. So I mean, it worked out very well for me, but it wasn't something I would recommend to every single person who has a dream in animation.
Again, it worked for Tom. It worked for Tom.
It's weird. It's weird because like people go often like, "Oh, what's your favorite animation and what do you watch?" And I'm like, you were talking about not really being into watching movies or TV anymore. It's like I never watch movies or TV anymore, and I don't watch animation. I'm not really into animation. Yeah. And I don't even really look at stuff that much. I'm kind of a little bit incestual artistically.
Which ain't a bad thing.
That's kind of a strong word, but
it works.
Sometimes people are a little bit like, wait, so what design blogs do you look at? What kind of things do you look at to get your ideas? I'm like, they just come out of my head. I don't know. I read a book or I have a conversation, and then I get ideas, and I don't really lift ideas directly, but I think I am subconsciously influenced by seeing things. And like Midnight Gospel was a recent thing that I thought was really
I fucking love Duncan Trussell.
Strange, and
dude, Duncan Trussell.
I like being surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that Aaron does the music for Duncan's podcast?
So I watched a little clip of the conversation.
Okay.
I heard him talk about that, and I was pretty surprised by that. That's really cool.
Isn't that weird? Is it? It's just like a weird thing. Yes, Midnight Gospel. Yeah. What's up, Ezo? I'm just calling you Ezo.
Yeah.
What's up?
Ezo J.
Ezo J 1 2 3. Yes, Midnight Gospel.
Well, Ezo, or his name's Jackson. He's been watching my stuff since like the year 2000.
Wow.
He's been on.
So he followed you to Twitch?
He's been watching my stuff forever.
Did he follow you on Twitch?
He's followed me everywhere.
He's what's up?
He's an OG. Because I was online before social media.
Right, I was noticing.
How old are you, Mike?
I'm 30. Reina, 37 or 38. I think I'm 37 because last year I was calling myself 37, and Reina kept saying, "You're 36. Stop telling people you're 37. You're 36." Okay. Thank you, Reina. I'm 37.
That's funny. So you're the same era. So you remember before YouTube and it was just websites and Newgrounds and I don't know, random websites that just had the content you wanted to watch or forums or. But yeah, Ezo is back on my website back when I was just constantly putting stuff on my site, and it was really fun, special days. But
that's amazing.
The wild west of the internet.
Right. Before you could get deplatformed. Now you say the wrong thing and they'll take your shit away. But when the internet was cool, it's still cool. It's just a little more restrictive, but that's all right.
I liked how simple the building blocks were. Like you could just like take a couple tutorials, open up a notepad document, and like write a web page.
Wow.
With like HTML, head, title. And then like the body, and you're like, "This is my website, hello world." And then you put it online. You're like, "I got a website! I got a website!" It was so cool.
The internet was amazing. Yeah. But I gotta say, I like it better now because you can actually stream stuff on it. You remember when you were trying to stream, like even like getting a picture is like doink. Yeah. AOL days, doink. Doink.
Yeah.
So
it's like super teeny stuff. Yeah.
It's like this thing that was like 3 kilobytes takes you all day to load the whole page. It's tight.
But to continue the idea we were
Please.
talking about, going to college was a big, like, milestone for me, like to kind of go against the odds or whatever you could say. But then surprisingly, when I graduated school, I kind of thought, okay, cool, my career is gonna start now. And I got a job at a ad agency, and it was, honestly, it was the best place I could have gone at the time, but it still wasn't a good fit for me. Like, when I got there, I realized, oh, this is a little different than I thought it was gonna be. And you're exiting school where it's very supportive atmosphere, and then all of a sudden you're in this job obligation thing, where you basically get paid to do stuff you don't care about, unless you can find a way to care about it. But there was often like it was just like the brief was like, we need more college students to drink our energy drink. It's just like, I'm like, I don't know if I want college students to drink more energy drinks.
It's like, you probably should stop.
And I remember and then the 2008 hit with the economic downturn. But I mean, Obama getting elected was awesome, and like, I don't know, there was a lot of like a mix up of stuff happening back then, but I just knew that I didn't want to. I wasn't an agency guy, and I remember we would freelance people. We would hire like photographers or musicians freelance, and I remember like seeing those people, communicating with them and be like, I want to be on that side. I want to be outside the walls of the agency.
Yes, contractor, son. The only way to fly, baby. The only way to fly. I don't fuck around. No, I don't anymore. I don't fuck around with that anymore. I'm not gonna sign on with your company. Like, the company I'm working for right now is like a perfect relationship because I am contracted for one specific thing. Well, several things. It's a .org, so fucking nonprofits can be. You get asked a little more than you should sometimes, but that's fine because it's a good cause. I really enjoy it, but it's like I really enjoy at the end of the day being able to like call my boss, like just sort of joke around with them, maybe a little inappropriately, and then just cut out and like, I gotta go. You deal with that. I gotta go, or just being able to say no. Honestly, that idea of you have this person who is telling you this and that, and it's like, well, this is what I can give you. I'm not doing that because of this. You know what I mean? Like, because you can set your own parameters. No, you can't just tell the person who hires you to do things, no, I don't like that idea. Go fuck yourself. It's like you got to work with it. But the idea is that any time I can just stop. I can just no, I'm not gonna, and that's fine. And you're not gonna fire me. You might not pay me, but whatever. It's like I like that control. I like the idea that I'm just visiting and not staying.
Totally, because you have autonomy over your future in a way that when you're in a job, you kind of look at entire years in different ways. Like, you're just like, well, how many vacations can I take? Maybe 1 or 2 if possible, but maybe none. Maybe I don't have any vacation days. Maybe like, I don't know. It's just
all of that.
It felt very. And I just, there was such an agency dynamic, like as far as culturally, and I just didn't vibe with it. And I remember the people around me seemed to really lean into it. And it was kind of casual, actually, where the office was kind of more a place to hang out. And, you work a little bit, go get a coffee with people, lounge around a little bit, kind of shoot the shit, talk, hang out. And I was like a fierce worker. And it was weird because I would want to leave at 5, when the day's over, and I got like shit for it in my interview, or like when it came review time or whatever, review time. They would be like, you're doing solid work. We really appreciate what you're doing, but we just kind of don't want you to be the guy that always leaves at 5. Yeah, it always leaves at 5. And I remember just being really offended by that because. I was like, hey, you just told me I work really hard. Yeah. And then I want to get the F out of here. Right. Go home, have dinner, and then maybe do some more work of my own,
Yeah.
And so there was always that tension because they kind of wanted all of your mind at the agency.
Yeah.
It's like they couldn't enforce moonlighting, like anti-moonlighting, but they were like, we don't really want you working hard at night on other jobs. We want you to come fresh with ideas here. And
yeah, we don't want
sounds
you.
like a horror HR story.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was it was a young company, and they were actually really great, and I respect them. But it was sort of disorganized because they were small.
Right.
So when you have the small companies, you can you get more leeway with people and things that you do, and sometimes it can be really bad or really inappropriate or whatever. But
right.
But I worked there for 3 years, which was a long time at that company because they had a lot of turnover, but I ended up staying there for a while. And no, but anyways, quitting that job was a big deal. But then the next thing was doing full-time freelance in 2014, and that's been ever since. I've just been doing my own stuff at home, loving it, and I'm actually doing less and less job work as of the last 2 years.
That's tight. That's tight. Yeah. No, that's actually where my wife is trying to go too. Is like because she teaches voice lessons, and she's a streamer as well. Shout out Reina, Mystique. She actually, Reina, will you shout yourself out? That's so weird to ask him so much. But no, she wants to reduce her teaching schedule. Oh, thank you for the follow, Ezo. Sorry if I forgot. but yeah, reducing this, because teaching, especially during the pandemic, was this wonderful. It was great that she was able to have a job. I lost all my work. Like, we both played out together, so we both lost our jobs. But she was able to sort of lean into this teaching thing. So, but that's not what she wants to do. Now that she's a streamer, that's all she wants to do. So that's sort of what we're working on, is trying to figure out how we could get her more just on the stream than just in the teaching room. But like that idea of like freelancing and contracting, and then the idea of shrinking that down to only you, it's only me, I'm only doing me, and being able to successfully do that. I mean, obviously that's a and so you're nearing that, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most recent challenge is the fact that, like, Jess works full time still, and it's been a little offensive at times how much I've given myself to my little baby idea, and when she's working every day, and it's it's an immense privilege for me to do that. And so there's been tension there, and I've been a little oblivious to it at times and defensive about it, but like appreciate that but she loves her job though too. So it's this weird kind of, she does her job and her side gig, and she loves both of them.
Yeah.
And for me, I just don't have that gig I love anymore. I can't do that anymore. But it isn't my intention to just not make money for the rest of my life. Like, I am doing little jobs. I'm making less money than I used to. Probably about half right now. And that's, my thought is that as soon as I'm making more than Jess from streaming, then I'm gonna, I don't know, buy something cool and be like, look, babe, told you.
Look what I did.
That's not the point. I mean, it's not the point.
I know, it's not.
But, and we're doing all right. Like, I mean, we bought a house
congratulations.
7 years ago. So we bought before the market really went up.
Yeah.
And, I paid off school. So our expenses are actually pretty simple.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I have the privilege of being able to actually ride our savings out longer in this time, especially because with the virus, we're not eating out. We're not going on vacation. We're not doing any of the stuff that used to kind of eat up that extra income, right? But he wants a one wheel. Of course I do.
What's a one wheel?
I'd love a one wheel. Maybe I'll get sponsored by One Wheel and they'll give me one.
What's a one wheel?
It's like a, it's like a wheel with a platform on it, and you can. It's like you can snowboard around neighborhoods basically, but.
Oh yeah. I know they're like a
yeah.
hoverboard, but with one.
Yeah, it's like a gyro.
Yeah, they're only $1,000. What? Come on, Jess. They're only $1,000. Come off.
They're pretty expensive, but they work really well, and they're actually kind of dangerous. You can go really fast with them.
I won't. I just won't do that. Now when I fall and break, I stay broken forever. So I don't do that anymore. I don't do
That's true, man. And speaking of breaking, I had a huge injury in 2000. Shoot, when was it? 2006. I broke my body intensely.
Oh Jesus!
And that was another thing to overcome in my life. It was very odd.
What happened?
Actually, if you
I don't want
Google,
you to kill yourself either.
If you Google Tom thinks this is what happened to me. Shoot, what was it? Type in accident. Here, let me see if I can find it. I'll give you the URL. Here, I'm about to paste it into the combo here. I sent it in the Discord.
Okay.
But I had an accident with a tarp. Because in college I used to play with a tarp in the wind. It was the coolest thing ever. Where you could basically sail on the ground with.
Oh my God! Wait a second. It's on your YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah. If you search for, you can probably find it by Googling and stuff. But
you sent me a link.
It's a really old video of me and my friends getting pulled around in the wind with a blue tarp.
I did see that actually. Oh wait, I can't do it here. Hold on. I can't. I guess I could do it here. Okay, we'll bring Tom back in a second. We're gonna go and check out this. Yes, I would like to go there, please. This is what happened to me February 12th, 2006. I went tarping and a few friends during a blizzard. Jesus! Tom, my God, a blizzard. So wait, I can remember everything except for landing. Okay. Wait.
I got really messed up, yeah.
Oh my God, and there's pins in your knees.
Yeah.
There's arm stuff. Oh my God. Oh, gee, I'm looking at these pictures, and your eyes are all bloody and shit. Look at you.
Yeah, I broke some shit.
Dude! And that's a screw that they put into your... Oh
yeah. My knee got pulverized, broken to like 5 pieces. Yeah, my kneecap.
Wait, so this was in Rhode Island?
It was when I was at college.
Fucking kids. Fucking dumb kids.
So I used to be such a daredevil, but now I'm not really a daredevil anymore.
Wait, you lifted up across the street and then landed somewhere else?
I flew up about 20 feet and 20 feet high and about 75 feet in distance. It was like a big arc.
Wow.
And slammed down.
Here's what he's talking about when
it was a big deal. It hurt.
It was a big deal. It hurt. Let's see if this works.
I also sent the video of us tarping as kids. It's got music in it. You might want to mute it.
Yeah, I muted
it. This is just an example of what tarping is like.
So I'm just
watch this. He gets.
Oh my God. Holy shit! That's just
we just get yanked around. But so this day it was 75-mile-an-hour gusts, and this is a 20 by 40 foot tarp. So I mean the surface area to 2 little boys is insane. Like it probably could have lifted 500 pounds.
Wow.
Or 600 pounds. You know, like it was a lot of tension, and it pulled me up in the air. Because this is just pulling us on the side, on sideways, but sometimes it can go up, and I got hammered pretty hard by it, but I survived and I'm okay. I just have a really messed up knee now, but everything else is fine. Yeah.
Well, did you just drop something else in there?
Snowboarding is. What's that?
Did you just drop something else in there?
No.
Oh no, I just okay, my bad.
No.
Snowboarding?
I didn't. I haven't. My knee still is pretty messed up from it.
Yeah.
But I can still like run and skateboard, but it just kind of hurts a little bit, you know.
It's like parasailing, but rough ground instead. Yeah, right.
My gosh! Yeah.
We just need to take
landed on icy concrete.
We need to get some people to chase him with pillows. So if he ever falls, the spill lands on somewhere soft. Yeah, I agree.
Throw some pillows.
We'll just all hit him with pillows until he falls over onto the pillows. It's for your own good, Tom. It's for your own good. So
or you need to get some moon shoes.
Man, I remember when I was a kid, I saw this commercial where these kids were walking across the floor, and then they started walking on the walls and then on the ceilings, and it was like real life kids. I really thought those were like shoes you could buy, like these anti-gravity shoes, but that's how big of a dumb kid I was. It was like, I didn't.
Beauty of marketing.
Yeah, it was, and I begged my mom, and I'm sure she was like, "Get away from me! That's not real."
Yeah.
Wind dragging, really. Wind dragging, really. Wind dragging, really.
Yeah.
So, Tom, did that sort of? I mean, you seemed like you were laid up for a little bit from that. What did you do to sort of get, because you seem like you're someone who can't sit still for very long. So,
well, I mean, I was in the hospital for a week, and then when I got home, I had a cane and casts and stuff. But the cool thing about breaking your elbow is that you can still use your hand and wrist and stuff. So I was actually was in the hospital for a week, got out, and then just would do my work and go to class like normal. But I had to get rides sometimes from the school, public safety or whatever. So I actually never really skipped a beat with work. I mean, with school.
Man, being young was awesome.
And I kept on. And I got to just kind of hang around my apartment at the time and have visitors a lot. And I was doing recordings, doing a lot of improvised, goofy music recordings at the time. Actually, with this keyboard I have here, Izo would recognize this keyboard from the very beginning. But this goofy keyboard that I have has been a constant source of inspiration for me with my friends growing up. Because with all the pre-programmed stupid songs and accompaniments it has, and
yeah.
Were you ever a Wesley Willis fan?
Oh hell yeah! That's Batman. I whooped Batman's ass. That's him, right?
Yeah. Yes. I whooped Batman's ass. Yeah. I loved Wesley Willis.
I saw him at this really shitty.
Wait, you saw him?
Yeah, back in the day. At this place called Frankie's on the east side. I didn't know who the fuck he was. All I knew he was. Someone brought me there because I think we were there to see a local band. That's how stupid I was. And it was just this like homeless guy, like fucking not really rapping or singing. And he had his I think he had the tape deck with him. I mean, I was young and stupid and drunk.
He was on his own level. Like, I mean, it isn't like normal music that you would like put on and groove to. But he was an entertainer and he enjoyed it, and he was very satisfying to him to make those songs, and I really enjoyed, because he never knew what was going to come out of his mouth, and he was very creative, and it was just cool to be inspired by such an unexpected place. Right. This kind of homeless looking large black man that is just singing these ridiculous songs. There's a great documentary about him called Wesley Willis Joyrides. Yeah, that is like very good to watch.
I think I've seen that because he does have like actual mental issue. Like he had schizophrenia and was constantly on medication and stuff.
I mean, he was
mentally ill, and for whatever reason that locked in with people. It's so weird how your mental illness can lock in with people to the point of fame. You know what I mean? It's just like
well, I mean, I think in his case, his music was his way of escaping the tortured side of it, because he was able to actually not get taken over by some of the negativity in his mind. But there were times he still lost the battles at moments, because he would talk about hell rides. Hell rides were like when he would lose it and like he would go crazy and like be sort of irate, but then he would be on joyrides where, it's like he's doing good. He's and he had a lot of friends, and he was actually not homeless, and he actually had a lot of money. Like he was in the documentary I watched, he had like $10,000 to $20,000 on him in cash at any given time because he was making so much money at shows and selling CDs and doing so much, but he didn't know how to take care of himself.
Right.
He could not take care of himself.
Right.
But he had money, but he didn't know what to do with it. He would buy new keyboards, you know.
Yeah.
Like he would always upgrade to the new, you know, $1,200, $2,000 keyboard or something,
and
you know?
and make a fucking silly song like I whoop Batman's ass with it. It's like I love that. I love those acts that are like that. Like do you know, I know this might be a little bit too far, but Gigi Allen, are you familiar with? Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. No, I got one too for you. Here you go.
So you're asking. Unfortunately, I can't hear.
I know you can't. You have a nice.
I can assume what it might sound like.
It was the Scat Man. That's it. And then there's this. And then there's Panda, by Designer. Wait a second. What were we just saying? Oh,
you
Gigi
were gonna
Allen.
ask if I had heard of someone.
Yeah, Gigi Allen.
I don't know that name.
So Gigi Allen is sort of not the same. He was a very much a, there's an awesome documentary about him made by Todd Phillips, who is the guy who directed The Hangover and like Old School. But he did this like student film about Gigi Allen when he was at NYU. And he, so Gigi Allen, for those who don't know Gigi Allen, he was a punk rock band. It was Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. They were punk rock, and it was him and his brother and like a drummer and I think maybe one more guy. But what Gigi Allen would do is he would get so fucked up on drugs and whatever that he would get violent. He would throw his feces at people. The one time, the really interesting thing that they caught was Gigi Allen biting a microphone like this, and then taking the end of his hand and going, Grr! And he smashed out his front teeth, and he would do interviews, and he's like, my body is a rock and roll temple. I pray at the altar of rock. And he's like, he is that guy with the broken teeth. I mean, he would eat his own feces. I mean, he would be so into his music, he would just like punch people. Like, people started coming to the shows because it was just such a spectacle. But what was funny is that he would start going, and you would see this big hole open up in the crowd, and because no one wanted to get punched by Gigi Allen. And so this dude, I mean, I think he ended up dying of AIDS. Like, when he died, he had like syphilis and gonorrhea, and he had like I mean, he was just disgusting. Like, he did time in prison for punching a woman. I'm not saying I glorify this man at all. Nah. But if you're interested in that sort of like on the fringe sort of entertainment,
well, there's something fascinating in people that are so bold. Like, it's like, what makes them that bold? You know, like, is it that they're actually insane, or is it just it might be? You know,
I'm pretty sure it's more of column A than column B. But
and I mean, there could be, a whole trail of abuse that led up to that, as far as like how to have control and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's I don't know if I could stomach that kind of intensity.
No, me neither. In all honesty, even in my wildest days, like, I don't want to get punched by Gigi Allen or get his shit on my face. I can't imagine anything worse than getting a grown man's shit like thrown into your face when you're just trying to enjoy a show.
Yeah, I think the most edgy, gross thing I do on my streams is burping liberally,
Well, and then they give you scores, which is very nice that they score your burps. The 6 out of 10 was the last one, by the way, which isn't bad. Not great, not your best, but not bad. So what we're wrapping up here. I know we've been going for a while here, but I was just curious on, like, did anything really change for you when this pandemic came? When the pandemic came, I don't know. I mean, to me, an artist can just be freelance, especially you, like a visual artist or an animator. You can do that from your house, and you just never ends for you. So in my head, like you just everything was normal, and you just had to deal with the pandemics. But what actually happened? I'm just curious. Was there a shift? Was there?
I mean, I was ramping up on doing Cartoon Mess Live more in the start of the year, and then
wait a second, you did that live too,
trying to
right?
switch over to it and build and presence on Twitch and everything. But when the live shows, yeah, I did live shows like with the audience and stuff. I did maybe 4 performances or maybe 5 before the pandemic happened. But
was that in were you
those are really cool.
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. Fucking technology. I thought it was really awesome that you did that in front of a crowd. Like, because I saw a picture from or a video from January of this year, I think, and I think it was at some hotel, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is totally like this could totally be a live show and shit. So were you doing that and coinciding with Twitch, or did it start as a live show and then move to Twitch?
Oh yeah, well, it started the very first instance of doing this was I would make puppets with Flash back even in college. I remember we'd sit around the dorm room and I'd make a screen, kind of like just with this where hi, I'm Mike 3 la 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 la. We would I would make a setup where it had each of us would have a puppet. We'd all sit at the keyboard with a finger on each button and we could have a puppet show together, and I thought it was kind of funny. Nice. But then in 2015, some friends of mine were working on an app called Hype, and it was kind of just off the tail end of Vine.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you used Vine at all. I was pretty into Vine back then, but
they were awesome though. I love Vine.
One of the creators of Vine, Russ, started this company to make Hype, and I was knew some of the people working on it, and they gave me beta access, so we got to play with this new app. It was actually an iOS app on a phone where you could do your own live streams, and it was actually pretty ahead of its time. Wow. You could have your video feed be in like different kinds of wrappers, and you can move it around while it's streaming, and you could have questions pop up from the chat, and you could it was like Twitch, honestly, but it was kind of early, really impressive stuff, and they kind of thought that people could use it to make their own game shows for their communities. And it was a good idea, except that making a game show is hard. Like it's like most people aren't just gonna whip together a compelling show live stream thing, So but that's where I started doing this stuff, because I would make characters such as this, and I would actually, at the time, I had to set up my phone on a little thingy like right here and film my screen because you couldn't connect a monitor to the app. So I had to film my screen, but then I would make these characters talk to people, and then people would freak out on it. So then there was that. But then in 2018, I learned about Twitch, got on Twitch, started doing shows for no one. I mean, dude, it took me so long to get a community, like, because I've been on Twitch for 2.5 years or so, and and I would do shows for one person, people.
It'd be you and Ezo
for like an hour, no one,
You and Ezo hanging
Ezo,
out.
Yeah. Ezo was there sometimes, and like it was small, and it took me forever to even get affiliate.
Wow.
Because when you stream, you get to tap into the other people who are doing your genre, right? And there wasn't really anyone doing, like, when I would do this stuff 2 years ago, people would just not even watch it because they would think it was a video.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even get enough time to like make the character talk to them, before they would leave or something.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, we're still going.
Still going, baby. Still here.
But it took I would say it was like 5 viewers or less for like a year and a half or so.
Wow.
And it was discouraging, and I would do it for a few weeks and then not do it for like a month, and then get back on the horse and do it again. And I made a couple, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3 things where I had live guests in studio with me, but those were too much prep. It was too hard to keep doing it. So then I just started not numbering them and kind of, but yeah, so I can't remember what the question was, but
it's totally fine. My
been
question
on Twitch for a couple of years. And,
well, my question was, because I sidetracked you, by the way, because I was bringing up cartoon mess. Oh God, I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but I was bringing that up, and that you used to do that in real life. You'd take that into live settings, and then so I asked if that coincide with Twitch, which it sounded like it did. And then
Twitch was first, and then the live show came out because my friends were putting together a variety comedy show.
Oh, cool!
And they invited me to participate. And it's just like there's tons of problems with live streaming in general. Man, doing a live show with working with a sound person and doing this is so much more hard. Like, it's so much harder. Like,
well, yeah, because again, you're working outside your comfort zone.
How many
right?
problems would happen?
Right. I mean, you had to work with somebody. It was a collaboration, right? So you had to sort of outside your comfort zone there, right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, getting a response, it's almost like a stand-up comedy situation where you're trying to get laughs. And then if you make a joke and no one laughs, it kind of starts to mess with your focus a little bit. You're like, oh,
that was the joke.
That one didn't land. It's like, then I'm kind of like, what else am I going to do here? What else should I do here?
Yeah.
How can I entertain thee?
The littlest, my experience with stand up consists of my dad's funeral and my fucking my experience with improv, which is completely different. But that silence, that deafening silence. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make your face look like that.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear your dad died.
Oh, well, it happens. People come and go.
Yeah.
It's Earth. It happens like that. But yeah, I mean, you can imagine at a funeral, me trying out jokes is not the right place. You know what's funny? It made my like super like right wing, uptight, conservative preacher uncle laugh, and that was good enough for me. He was him and my asshole cousin who doesn't care. It was them two. They got my back. But like when you're on stage and there's silence when there was supposed to be laughter, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, at a funeral, there's a lot of people like not sure whether it's cool.
Yeah, to laugh.
They're like, is it cool? Can we laugh? Is it okay? Am I gonna look like a calloused asshole?
Which is, I mean, it could have looked like that, but then I played a real cooking version of Tears in Heaven, and then the whole crowd went crying. They didn't go wild; they went sad.
Well, yeah.
That's what happens at funerals. Wow, I'm really trying to gain followers at the moment, just doing my silly music stuff. Kind of disheartening that it takes so long, even with the massive talent you guys have. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
Well, it really is. You just have to, I think it's mostly consistency, because once you found some sort of consistency and you start seeing, probably you start growing from there, right? Once you were really solid to the schedule.
Well, I mean, I'd say the biggest growth started happening when I started getting involved in the community.
Oh, okay.
Really, because you have to make connections with people.
Oh, Adam, thank you so much for that sub, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's because I have monk tendencies of like walling myself off from influences and just like devoting myself to a thing and ignoring everybody. Which is great for consistency and for chipping away at an idea, but it can hold you back in the long run if you're unwilling to engage with communities. Because people are what makes art worth doing. The art being seen and seeing other people's art and kind of mixing it all up together and being inspired by other streamers. Yeah, it's Adam. It's okay if you're bad at networking. I kind of am too. It takes some effort. And I started with just, perusing the Discover or sections and dropping in on streams and seeing if there was anything I was inspired by. And, honestly, there's a lot of stuff I am not inspired by. And I'm not. Twitch is actually kind of, it's like a needle in a haystack sometimes for me. But when you find someone that you're inspired by, then it's like, oh, it's like, great, this is great, So then I follow them and then maybe subscribe for a time or something, or give bits and just start a dialogue, and then people check your stuff out, and then it kind of creates little sub communities, and that's when things started moving for me, honestly. And I don't have overwhelming success, but I am doing success to the point where I feel like I have a good audience. And it's really fun, and there's always people there. Yeah. And that's like the win for me, is there are people watching my shows, and I'm not just like sitting around waiting for people to show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People are waiting for you to show up now, which is beautiful, man. No, I mean it is a beautiful thing. Like, especially when you work at something for so long and you start seeing the fruits of your labor. I don't know. Are you familiar with the Fantastic Plastics at all?
I have dropped in on their stream once. Yeah, they play music and they have some colorful, cool
right. So like they did that in IRL, right? Like they did that for years in real life, and they lived in Brooklyn, and they paid the rent, and they did all the moving and all the grinding and all the networking and all the shit. Just to end up back in the Midwest. And, like when you talk to Tyson about it, you could definitely hear this, like, there was a defeat there because they had to give up this. Because part of the idea of moving from the Midwest to, like, out to somewhere cool, like New York City or the West Coast or whatever, and being from this small town is that gravitas, that bravado you get to come home with every time you come home. It's like, have fun, losers. I'm going to catch a plane back to the West Coast where it's warm right now. Yeah. So there's definitely this ego that you have to contend with, especially to have to move back, and for them to sort of take this weird little show and find a home on Twitch. Like it's such a really it's really inspiring, man. It's so cool because it's like you didn't find it in the real world, not you, but they didn't find it what they were looking for in the real world, but it took them to just stay home and do it on the internet to find their people, and now they're fucking killing it. I mean, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, them moving to New York and not really striking it big there. It's not. I mean, it's a failure in the sense of they were hoping they would get a bigger response, but physically going to a new place and suffering through establishing yourself like that inevitably contributes to what they're doing now. Even though they're in this Midwest, not cool place or whatever, they've got that soul work of having taken that risk, and they get to carry that with them into every stream. And I think that does make a difference, because if they had just never taken any risks, their stream would probably look different, and they would feel different.
Right? Yeah. I think it's all about risk. Like, to do this business, it's a risk. Like, you're not guaranteed a place. You're not guaranteed your next job. You're not guaranteed a fucking, income. You are constantly grinding. You are constantly hustling. And eventually it kind of starts working itself out. But then all of a sudden the pandemic hits, and then you don't have any work anymore. And then you're fucked. And then you start over, right? But that's what's so beautiful about it, is you get to start over and you get to try new things. Go ahead.
Oh, and you had asked how the pandemic affected, and I didn't really get to that.
No, let's do it.
What ended up happening was, when the lockdown happened, when they were like, everybody stay home, in March or whatever.
Right.
I was like, well, shoot, I'm just gonna stream every day, And to me, because I was like. And there were these jobs nipping at my heels, and I thought, man, like, because, I don't know about you, but when the shutdown happened, there was this kind of like, wow, lots of people are going to die.
Yeah.
am I gonna know people that die?
Yeah.
Am I gonna die? What if I was working my ass off on a job and then died? Like, that would be so discouraging to me. But I'm like, if I worked my ass off on my show and then I died, that would be a little bit better. You know, like, because I didn't spend my last days trying to make a brand video for some like, thing I don't care about or something like that. And so I had this like wholehearted devotion to throwing myself into it, even if I knew it wasn't sustainable to stream every single day forever. But I thought, well, this will help me grow. And it did. It really did. And I saw a response within weeks, and France started, like, the country of France, the French streamers just kept flowing in, and they were just loving everything I was doing. And they were huge, they were promoting what I was doing to each other. And they're a huge part of my community, actually, is the French streaming audience.
That's interesting. France.
Oh, my friend Drew's in the chat too.
Hey,
when
Drew.
you have to move home from living somewhere cool, it's so easy to see that as a failure. Yeah, I Drew. No.
Hey, Drew. Yeah, no, I when I moved back to Ohio,
the way I died was so discouraging. Yeah, I don't want to die.
No.
That's why I'm staying home.
Can I refund my death, God? I died badly. I want a new death. Please, Lord.
So yeah, I just felt very, very urgent and devoted. And but then, you know, work kind of caught up with me after a little while. And, you know, in May, June, work kind of, and then I'm back in like working pretty diligently on it. But once in a while, something happens or something personal happens in my life, you know, and then I have to kind of slow down and get distracted, but then I get back on it again. And so I'm working towards 100% streaming, but it might be a little while before I can really fully throw myself into it confidently with, as far as from a monetary perspective.
Right. Yeah, no, totally, man. Like it's
I'm still kind of splitting my days doing freelance work here and there and stuff.
How much time does it take you to prepare for a show? Just if you're just going to do like a duck or a borb show? I know you do. It's improvised.
You know, it actually doesn't take a lot of prep if I'm not doing anything hugely different. Like if I'm just gonna do an episode of Borb and there's like 5 submissions, I just have to like jump into my files like maybe 20 minutes before and put the photos in. Maybe draw a new Borb hat because he always has something come down on his head, and that actually probably takes the most work, is trying to think of like, well, what would be a funny thing that comes on his head? But sometimes like he's had like a bird nest come on his head, and then there's birds that like tweet and they're controllable. And, you know, like that's more like a 2-hour before streaming, you know, prep thing. But if it's just photos and drawing like a banana or something that comes onto his head, then, you know, it's something I could do about 20 minutes before I go live. Yeah. And it's kind of, it's nimble in that sense. But, you know, there are days where I'll spend an entire day rewriting the code for how the chat chip thing and interacts with the shows, or the wishing well. I don't know if you've seen that show. I don't do it very often, but I integrated all this code, and it took all day to kind of to make it work. So there are those days where I'll do an entire day of work without anything really strong to show. But then there are some days where I do a couple hours right before a stream, and then I got this new feature that blows it open again for me and makes it exciting and new. And like just the other day with Borb, I realized that his canvas mask, I thought, well, why don't I animate that so that the mask can expand beyond the canvas? And then all of a sudden, like, now I have this thing where he says, art, come out of the canvas, and then the mask grows, so the art marks that went beyond the canvas like just kind of flow out all of a sudden, and it's really trippy. Whoa. And then you can like make it go back, and that's like a new feature. And it was just this thing I made up like 5 minutes before I went on live once. I'm like, wait, could I do that? I'm like, yeah, totally can. You know?
Wow. I love those. I love those ideas that come out of things. Like, it's like those ideas that come out that are so blatant and in front of you. You're like, how did I not think of that earlier? Like, this could have been happening. Do you puppet the mouths manually, or is that automatically done by a program?
It's manual. Lama Laura. Manual. Lama Laura. So, as you can see, I'm pressing buttons, and it's like la 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 la, lu 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 lu, ah, and I've got eyes like wide, closed, furrowed, eyebrow up. He's dancing. Stop me, but. And I can even change his posture. I've got some other things, stuff like this. He's got a puppet. Hello, I'm Saki the puppet. Hello, Saki. How are we today? We are fine. Can't talk. I'm on a podcast.
Duck, will you not take calls while we're trying to have a podcast, bro?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Mike.
You know what, Doug? I mean, I can't be mad at you, baby. Oh, Mike.
Don't be mad.
Don't be mad, Doug.
Don't be mad.
It was just raining tacos. How could you be mad? Must have taken a lot of practice to make it so natural.
I've been playing with this stuff for years, so it's definitely become. It lives in my hands, man. It totally does. It's just
Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, you do it for so many hours, so many days. It's part of who you are. I love how the duck's beak still moves a little bit during the puppet mouth. Yes. Yeah,
there's a lot of little things I've, there's stuff on auto, like his eyes are always moving, and he's his mouth even, when he's just sitting for a while, his mouth will close, or I think it does that. I don't know. Maybe his mouth is not. Anyways, yeah, I like trying to make this stuff as nimble as possible so that the least amount of input creates the biggest benefit. As far as with Borb is so dynamic. I can't believe I never would have imagined how satisfying it could be to do Borb, because he's actually physically producing a work of art, but he's also a present live character. It's just amazing to me that I never would have. It was just piece by piece. It first started with, can I make a character that has a dynamic arm that stretches to follow the cursor,
Yeah.
And that was the first part. And then it was, can I make him talk and do that all at the same time? And I'm like, I think I can.
Oh, I love that, man. I love that so much. That is so cool. Do you know of anybody else that's sort of doing what you're doing, or
no,
or on Twitch?
Well, not in the same way, but I do know some people that are doing things that are live animation. Like I am Castlehead. He uses some sort of face rig technology, which is an automatic way of making the mouth follow his mouth.
Yeah.
I think it might be Adobe Character Animator. I'm not sure. Adobe Character Animator is like a one-stop shop for making motion tracking animated things. I've played around with it, but it was ultimately not really sharp enough for my liking. It's not really accurate enough. You get a lot of mouth noise with it. Like if I'm talking like this, it'll show all sorts of random mouths, and it just feels like it's inaccurate to me. But with what I do, I have complete control. It doesn't matter because I'm puppeting it, so there's never anything happening that I don't want it to happen unless I make a mistake or whatever.
Right.
But Cardboard Cowboy has a whole illustrated and animated world that's similar, but actually more in depth, I'd say, because he has a whole storyline and different characters that. But I'd say that the character animated features are less intricate with his world, but the world is more intricate, and so there's these different ways that other people are kind of doing something, but we're all doing it in different ways. And I'd say the closest example of live animation is probably I Am Castlehead, because his is the cleanest, and he's put the most into making different scenes and and kind of tying them all together, and it's pretty impressive how seamless it is. Because he doesn't really break character. He's always the character, and the character's always in the world, and that's all there is. You don't see him outside of that.
Right.
Mine's kind of different because I'm like always kind of bouncing back and forth.
But it's also funny because you can insert yourself into the world as well a little bit as well, which I've seen you sort of stick your face in there, and it sort of does that thing, which I love as well. That little detail that you threw in there. There it is. Look at Tom's.
Hey Doc, do you like this? Oh, I do. Good. Good.
I love seeing new people's reactions to the stream because it's the same reaction I had. Totally mind blowing. Yeah, absolutely. I remember because Aaron's one of those people, one of those streamers who I immediately became like enthralled with, because when you watch him work, you're just like, what the fuck? You know, like you're just like, what? You know, like it's beautiful, and you get that same reaction.
He's just like bouncing around.
Yes. He's in it. Yeah, exactly. And he's very much in that moment. And I always love that. I always love that in the moment type stuff. But he that was, I love that idea of just going and being able to free flow. Tom, I appreciate you coming on the show. Do you have time to play a quick game?
I guess so. How do we play it?
Well, it's called How Much Does It Cost on Craigslist? It's
okay.
It's just basically I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to guess on the price of items on Craigslist. And what we're doing is we're going to be playing for patches from our sponsor, modedstudios.com. Go to modedstudios.com to find all your favorite Wu-Tang patches. We have this thing, whatever that S thing is called, from, thank you. Did someone follow?
They redeemed claps.
Oh, you redeemed clap. Okay, thank you. Oh, Reina did. Thank you, Reina, for the clap. Thank you, Tom, for telling me what's going on in my own stream. So we're going to be playing for these patches. Modedstudios.com. They do, this is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, When Nature Calls. And so we're going to be playing for these. We're going to play only a couple because I've kept Tom here for so long, and I'm sure that he has to use the bathroom because I know I do.
No, actually, I'm good. I actually need water more than going.
Do you want to get water while I get this set up?
Sure. I'll be right back.
All right. Tom's going to be right back, everybody. See ya, Tom. I'll see you soon. Thank you for all that cool things you showed us. Thank you, Tom. I'm going to get this set up. I'll be right back, guys. Hold on. What the hell happened? I was supposed to have music playing, but nothing happened. Wow. Okay. There it is. Yeah, baby. All right, I'll be right back with some games. Rush. Baby, here we are. We're back. Oh. Present. All right. Oh my gosh. What's going on here? All right, we're back. We're back, folks. All right. So the name of the game. Oh my gosh. Get out of here, reverb. So the name of the game is How Much Does It Cost on Craigslist? brought to you by ModusStudios.com. So again, the quick answer, or the how do you play? The answer is, it's like The Price is Right, but you can go over. So we're just guessing on how much you think it costs on Craigslist. Very easy. We'll start with Tom, and then you guys can drop your bids in the chat. So here we go. First item up for bid. Turn the music down just a little bit here. Jack Nicholson. Wow. What is up? Oh my God, hold on. Oh, why can't I see the whole thing? That makes me upset. So this is a Jack Nicholson sculpture from Pompano Beach. Jack Nicholson sculpture from Uruguayan artist Javier Abdallah. I think it's...
How big is it?
That's what I was going to... Because it's supposed to have the stuff in it. Yeah, here it is. Hold on, guys. I'm reading it. Oh, no. So Javier, it is 64 by 82 by 17 inches. Mixed media, metal, and recycled material. So how much do you think this garbage art is? Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. It's a joke. It's a bad joke. It's a rude joke. Okay. So
wow.
we're going to start the bid
big.
with Tom. So Tom, how much do you think this cost on
I'm
Craigslist?
Putting myself in... let me think about this. So is the person that's selling it, they're not the artist, right?
I don't think so. I don't think they're the artist.
I'm gonna say, how about asking price $800?
$800. The artist says 800. Saucy. Clavio says $10. Saucy says $71,000. All right, guys, drop your bids. If you want to win these tight ass patches, you got to bid. You got to play to win, baby. You got to play to win. Drop your 250 euros. Ooh, I like it, Adam. Thank you for that. Oh, I like it. So Adam says 250 euros, which is what, like $20,000 in U.S. currency. Reina says 1,200. Port says 2,000. Mighty says 5,000. Llama Laura 145. Nimoli, how you doing? Over 9,000 for sure. He says $400 dues for senior pancake. And Wallace says $347.85. Wow, these numbers are everywhere. I love it. Anybody else want to drop their bids in? Go ahead. I'll give you a couple more seconds here before we do the big unveiling. Oh, and I forgot, everybody. I added a new alert. So let's see if this works. Okay, I think that's everybody who wanted to guess. So the new alert is go drum. Let's see if it works. Here we go. And the price on Craigslist is 19,000. Oh my God, you can't see the price over the stupid thing. Oh, you can't even see the price. I thought I had it all pretty for you guys. No, oh my God. Okay, it says $19,000. Hold on, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
19,000. That's right.
19,000.
$19,990. That's right, folks. We have another psychopath on our hands. Woo! Okay, that was supposed to be more enticing. That was stupid. Okay, so $19,990. So who won that? Over 9,000 looks like it won 71,000. I'm going to say that 9,000 is the closest that we got, right? I think so. I accidentally left off a 0. Oh, that's okay. Well, we're going to play another one, okay? We're going to play another one, so don't feel too bad. I got you, Port. Okay, so Nimoli wins. Hey, congratulations. Nimoli, if you want to, either you can jump in the Discord. And you can message me there, or you can whisper me. Yes, his power level was too strong. I agree. Much too strong. So if you want to jump in the Discord and just direct message me your mailing address, I will send that out tomorrow. And I will ship it anywhere in the world, folks. So anywhere in the country, or anywhere in the, I was going to say in the continental world, but that doesn't make sense. Wow. Look at me go here, folks. Look at me go. Okay, next. So I think I ruined it. So I think I'm going to skip over to the other one. So we're doing art again, folks, because we got an artist. So let me see if this actually goes up. So this is a very old painting. That's how they're selling this. Oh, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it, Namoli. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I like how it just says very old painting.
Yeah, exactly.
Old,
like this. This
frame alone worth thousands.
Yes. So keep that in mind, folks. Very old painting, frame alone, worth thousands. Open to trades. Let me know. So I don't know what part of the country this is. I think this might be near Seattle, because I did get one from Seattle, I think, but it don't matter. Anyways, so Tom, we'll start with you. How much does this item cost?
Well, shoot, if they said the frame alone is worth thousands, the whole thing's got to be worth thousands.
Thank you for the follow.
Unless they're like, hey, it's a screaming deal.
Screaming deal.
Man, that's hard. Let's say $2,000.
All right, Tom says $2,000. What do you guys have to say? Drop your bids in the chat. Let us know what you think, and I got this for you guys. I'm a scat man. Okay. Saucy goes 4,000. Okay. Wallace says 3,000. Oh, you guys are getting a little ballsier, huh? You guys throwing out a little bit bigger numbers, huh? So Adam Flair says 30,000. I'm just gonna say, he put $sign in front of it, but I'm just gonna say 30,000 euros because that sounds fancier. Oh, mighty 10 G's. Thank you. Oh, Senior Pancake, $2.51. How dare you, sir? How dare you price this hotel art at $2.51? Did you read the description? It says it's very old painting. What is going on? Oh, I still hear music. I'm like, what is going on? All right, guys, drop your bids. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds here. Here, I'll give you more Scatman. The frame alone, bro.
I don't think it is Price is Right rules, because you said you can go over and still get the closest, right?
Exactly. It's I just say it's like the Price is Right because it's just like you bid on it. So it's not really like the Price is Right at all, other than you're guessing on how much the face value of this piece of crap painting costs. So, all right, it looks like we got our bids. All right, guys, are you ready to see how much it cost? Oh, Craigslist, please tell me. Okay. Please. All right, I'm gonna do the command because I'm just tickled about it.
Yeah, dude. Hold on, it's great. A little drum roll.
You guys ready? Actual retail price on Craigslist. Oh, you still can't.
Hey, $3,500.
The stupid thing covers the price.
Wow.
Oh my God. 3,500 people. Oh.
And so Llama Laura got it, huh?
Llama Laura. Let me see. Is Llama Laura?
3,200.
32. That is right. Llama Laura. Hey, Llama Laura. Yep. I think you're right, Tom. I think you're right. The winner is yes. The wiener. Are you the winner? My bad. I didn't mean to call you wiener.
I dated a girl from Maple Valley once.
Oh, this is the one. This is the one that's from. Yeah. So this is from Seattle. Okay. Also, Maple Valley. The winner is me. Did you guys know that your pit right here is called the vagina? This part right here.
What?
This is called the vagina. And then this is called the weenus. I'm not making this up. You guys can definitely look that up. But my son thinks it's the funniest shit in the world. He's just like, unhand my vagina. Your stream is still running. We just paused. Oh, I see. Ah. Okay, I'm trying to bring Tom back here. Did I bring you back, Tom? No, I didn't. Oh my God. Why did I do that? Okay. You're back. All right, Tom. Thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, weenus. Exactly. We got our win. Oh, no. God, I'm just failing today. That's okay, because I'm failing upward.
No, that's it.
Failing
we all get these technical blips.
I know. I know, Senior Pancakes. I didn't want to show what was happening behind the scene here, but you know what goes. Tom, thank you so much. How can people get a hold of you? How can people hire you for commission? How can people reach out and say hi?
I mean, I have an email, but that's not cool.
No, I mean your Instagram. How about that? What's your
Instagram? My email? Email me.
Yeah. No, here's my phone number and address.
Yeah, I have a Instagram. Instagram.com/TomThinks is a good place to message me if you want to talk or about a thing. I've got so many social media accounts because of all of the characters that I have on Cartoon Mess Live. But yeah, check out my work on my site, tomthinks.com, or that works too. Or check out my streams. If someone in here doesn't know my streams, check out twitch.tv/TomThinks. And yeah, that's kind of the most active channels I have right now are those.
Thank you, Llama Laura, for the follow.
Why aren't we buying that very old oil painting?
Do you guys want to throw in on a $3,500 hotel art? You guys down? Y'all wanna go in on it?
Let's just buy it.
Let's just get it. Let's just do it. Okay, Llama Laura and Adam, right? Adam, who else won? Was it Adam? Llama Laura. Who else won, guys? I'm so sorry, I forgot.
I forgot too.
Oh my gosh, he said something. They said something. Oh, was it Namoli? Oh, it wasn't. It was Namoli. Okay, Namoli, Namoli and Llama Laura. I put my Discord in there, so if you guys want to jump in the Discord and send me your address, or feel free to whisper me if you don't want to jump in there. That's totally cool. But whisper me your address, and I will send these out. And then I have Wu-Tang Clan San Francisco, Wu-Tang Clan First Responder. I have Ace Ventura Pet Detective, and I have this little 90s thing that, and this is all from our sponsor, ModedStudios.com. Tom, dude, I really do appreciate it. This has been a real joy. It's been so fun to just sort of talk over process. I love talking process and shit with fucking artists and musicians. So this was very joyful for me. So thank you so much. And,
good.
And I'm sure
it was great meeting you, Mike.
Oh, Doug.
Great meeting you.
Hey, Doug. I love you too.
Aw,
You're beautiful, Doug. You're gorgeous.
Hey.
Oh,
Mike number one.
Hey.
Nice meeting you too.
Hey.
Mike. What's up?
Hey, West Coast, baby. West Coast. We're doing it. Hey. All right, Tom. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Peace. Oh, well, wasn't that fantastic, everybody? I thought that was just so fun. Yes, and the crowd goes wild. Oops. Okay. Thank you so much, Llama Laura, for following me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Hold on. I'm going to do something before we... Anyways, yeah, so... what'd you guys think of that? I mean, any of Tom's people in here find out anything new that they didn't know before? Oh yeah, baby. gonna get a little funky